So today's podcast, I've got Grace Hsueh, and have her from. Met her at the my Friday night meetings, and I guess how long ago did we meet?
I would say, oh, that needs to be closer.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that better? Can you hear me better?
yeah, a little closer.
Okay. I'm just like chewing gum. I don't want to like,
It's all right.
you know what I mean?
Nobody will judge you.
Okay, cool. Um, yeah, so we met probably I would say maybe a couple months ago. Well, I started going to Eddie's meetups when I moved to Arizona in November 20th.
Okay,
So somewhere around that time period, I think I'd seen you a couple of times.
but we hadn't officially met.
We hadn't officially met till probably like a month or two ago.
Yeah,
Yeah. But Eddie's events have been great for me to like get to meet incredible people,
Yeah.
and that's what I love doing is love networking, getting to know people's stories and um, sharing mine, inspiring and that's something I love doing. So I guess we could start off with why I moved to Arizona.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. How
Um,
long have you been in Arizona now?
yeah, so it's
Just
been
since November.
November 20th. Yeah, so what is that? Like almost 6 months?
Yeah.
Yes. Which is freaking crazy to me. Like 6 months ago, I moved here and like so much has happened, but also it flew by so fast.
Yeah.
Um,
Where'd you move from?
moved from San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Is that where you
I
were
w-
born and raised?
so I was born and raised in California. I moved to San Diego probably like 4 to 5 years ago. I originally moved down there for college. I went to San Diego State. Ended up dropping out 2.5 years into it. But yeah,
What'd you originally go for?
what did I go for? I was studying kinesiology, which is like the study of the body and its movements. Like I wanted to work in a hospital as a physician assistant. That was
Okay.
the original plan. Um, and then like I had never even stepped foot into a hospital, and I remember walking into the hospital for the first time, and I was like, "This is fucking depressing."
Right.
I was like, everybody, like the nurses are stressed. They're running around. Like everybody just looks so sad.
Yeah.
And then also like another thing about just American healthcare system, like they don't ever try to get down to like the root of your issue. They just like to throw drugs at you,
Right.
And like I went in there for we're getting personal. Like I have pretty recurring UTIs, right? So I remember
Mhm.
I went into the hospital or like to see a doctor, nurse practitioner, and like I was like, okay, what's wrong with me? Why do I keep getting UTIs? And he just like prescribed me like a pill, like 100 pills. He's like, just take these every time you have sex. And I was like, dude, okay, but what's wrong
Really?
with me? And he's like, oh, it could be a multitude of things, but you'll be fine if you just take these pills, essentially. And I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
like, yeah. And whereas if you go to other countries, like they'll actually try to holistically heal you. It's like in the diet that you eat, in your lifestyle, things like that. So,
Right. My girlfriend and I were talking the other day about like Chinese medicine, and just because it's so old, and I'm always a little like skeptical-ish of not Chinese medicine, but anything that's not westernized.
mm-hmm.
But I also think westernized is bullshit at the
It,
same
yeah,
time. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
100%.
Like I'm not a full fan of like westernized medicine heals all. I think westernized medicine is just a band-aid on a broken arm,
Exactly. Yeah.
or it can cause other problems. Like this girl I used to date, she was on like 6 different medicines for like mental health. It was like she got on one for like depression, but then that created a side effect. So she had to take another one for that side effect, which created another side effect. So by the time she was done, she's like, I don't even know like what's helping me and what's not.
Yeah.
And she actually got off all of them all at once.
Uh-huh.
And she did really well.
No way.
Yeah, she didn't do bad at all.
Really?
So it was almost, she's like, I almost feel like they were all like feeding each other in this like circle, And
Yeah.
so Western medicine is, I mean, there's amazing things about Western medicine that have definitely saved people's lives and continue to save people's lives. But like, I feel like a lot of those, especially health wise, a lot of those issues can be obviously 100% food can change, make you live longer depending on what you
Yeah.
eat. But like, I think also like natural stuff and like Chinese medicine is so ancient, you know what I mean? And like, with energy and like pressure points and like all that helps in so many different ways that like most West most people in the westernized civilization don't really give it much credit for. You know, I think now it's starting to change a little bit because everybody's realizing that our food is like literally poisoning us. You know,
Yeah. 100%.
but I'm still a little skeptical because what's really Chinese medicine. It's real Chinese medicine. That's ancient and has like centuries of history behind it, and what is like the cool little store that has quote unquote Chinese medicine and take this thing and it's good for your hair or something.
Yeah.
And I mean, is it really?
Yeah, exactly.
Or is it really like something that is got some ancient stuff behind it?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, it's kind of just you have to figure out what works best for your body. I think also is another thing. Like I'm all about holistic like health. You know, I love working out. I love eating healthy. I love looking good, feeling good. You know, it's just if you take care of your body, you know, I try to stay away from things like painkillers like ibuprofen unless I absolutely freaking need it.
Right.
I'm going to try to stay away from, you know, things that alter, you know, the chemistry of your body. It's just something about that doesn't feel good to me. So I'm all about like natural holistic healing. Like if, you know, some Chinese person says that, you know, I take a random root from somewhere, like I'll try it, you know, and if I feel good and yeah, I think that's kind of like how I like to treat my body. It's just almost like it's an experiment in of itself. Like what feels good for me, I'm going to continue to do those. Like that's the same thing when I work out. It's like I'll try a new workout if it feels good, if it targets the muscles that I'm trying to hit. I'll keep that and I'll add it into my workout.
Right.
So it's just really listening to my body and what I think feels good, and yeah, I'll just kind of do that.
Well, and I think that that's another like benefit to holistic medicine that's not even like thought about in Western medicine is that everybody's different. Everybody's body's different.
Yeah.
So what works for you might not work for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we could get the same results by maybe this is my regiment, this is your regiment, but it's still food, holistic medicine, you know, health, you know, exercise, things like that. But my regiment might be different than yours to get to the same results.
Yeah.
As opposed to Western medicine, it's just like, oh, take this drug. Oh, you feel that way too. You take this drug. You know what I mean? Everybody just takes the same drug for the same problem, even though that there's probably a lot more involved than just I have this problem.
Yeah, it's crazy how that stuff works.
Yeah. So what would you leave school for? What got you out of doing that and into something else?
Yeah, so this goes back to like my childhood days, I guess, kind of. So in the Asian tradition, I don't know how familiar you are with, you know, Asian tradition, but I guess it's like just the traditional way of thinking. You know, you go to school, you get good grades, go to a good college, get a good job, you know, have a family, you know, retire, work for somebody for the rest of your life, right?
Right.
That's kind of like the Asian like traditional mindset. So I thought I wanted to work in a hospital, you know, I really did, and but I just didn't realize how small my scope of like what the world is and what you could do with your life was. So what happened was when I was 19, I got kicked out of my dad's house. Like he literally disowned me. Like we got into a really bad argument over food stamps. Like he's trying to start, so he was trying to start his own company. He's actually still in the works of that, and he was a software engineer. He was getting paid really well, but then when he went all in on his business, you know, he wasn't bringing in the income. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom at the time, and so you know the family didn't look like we were bringing in a whole lot of money. And at this point, I was in college, and my friends were all on food stamps, and I was like, "You guys are getting $200 or $300 from the government just to get groceries." Like I was like, maybe I could sign myself up for this. Maybe I can sign my family up for this. And so I went online. You know, I started filling out the application, um, and it took me to like a .org website, and it was asking me for, you know, social security numbers and this and that. And I brought it to my dad, and I was like, hey, can you give, you know, Bella, Francis, all of our social security numbers so I can get us applied for this EBT program. And he looked at the website and he like flipped the fuck out. He was like, this is a .org website. If this is a government funded, you know, program, why is it .org and not .gov? And he was like, you're putting the family's entire like security at risk, you know? And so he basically accused me of like the safety of our family. And I was like, you gotta be fucking shitting me right now, dude. Like I'm trying to help us bring in money for groceries. You don't have a job that's paying you money right now. And you're accusing me. Like if you had done the research, you would know that this is the legitimate website that you're supposed to go on to apply for food stamps. And so I just yelled at him and I said things I probably shouldn't have. I was just like, you're a horrible father. Your own family doesn't like you. Like, we just butt heads all the time.
Yeah.
I'm very stubborn. He's also very stubborn. And me being the eldest too, like, I would always be the one to fight with him. Like, I wasn't a bad kid, but I have a very strong personality, and I firmly believe in the things that I believe in. And I just think a lot of the things that he did growing up, um, like, he was very manipulative, very controlling. Like, his means to control me, like, he wouldn't, like, if I did something that he didn't like, he would take things away from my sisters. Not like, he wouldn't even punish me for it. Like, he would be like, okay, if you're gonna do that, then Bill and Francis aren't gonna have dinner tonight, type shit. And I was like, dude, are you serious right now? Like, obviously, I'm not gonna make my sister suffer for my actions, right? So, and I hated it. I hated it because it was so, like, manipulative. I was like, that's so fucked up. Why would you, you know, bringing an innocent third party into our issue here? Right. So, so he disowned me, and I was, he was paying for my college, he was paying for all of my living expenses, which is like the traditional way. Like, you support your kids all the way up until college, until they can start supporting themselves with a job. So he cut off, my financial support, and I was like, fuck, I gotta work, so that's how I ended up in the hospitality industry. I started off doing DoorDash, doing Shipped, which is like a grocery delivery service.
Okay.
And it was big during COVID because, everybody was in on their houses. So I was making like decent money, but it was the first time that I'd ever made money for myself like that. Like, I'd done tutoring gigs before, but they would pay me like 15, 17 bucks an hour. So it really was just like to supplement. But I started really making money doing those services. And I was like, I want to make more money, because the more money I made, the less power my dad had over me, because it was like, okay, well, if you, like, he always used finances as like a means to control us. Like, if you want to do that, I won't pay for this, or, like, it was just messed up. So having that financial independence from him was just such a liberating feeling for me. And I wanted more of that. So I ended up serving at this brunch spot, and they trained me from ground zero. Like, my family didn't go out to eat a lot. So, like, I didn't know that, 20% tip is standard, right? Like, a lot of times we'll tip 10, 15%. Right. And it's like, even the basic things like steps of service, I didn't even know what that was. Like, I didn't know that you had to go drop the check off, and then customer puts their card on the check, and then you go run the check, then you bring it back to them with the pen, they sign it, they tip. That's like, I didn't even know basic things like that. Like, ground freaking zero, knew nothing. Yeah. And it was a brutal job. Like, I remember Saturdays and Sundays, we'd get freaking rocked. Like, people were getting mad. Like, you know how people are when they come on brunch, they're freaking hungry. And especially on Sundays, they get off of church and they just like all dress nice and they want food, and got my shit rocked. But it was a great first job because it was just like, you're making money, and you start to realize how people interact. Like, I feel like I built so much confidence just working in the industry, and I think everybody needs to work industry at least once in their life, because it kind of puts things into perspective of, like, you see all different types of people. You see crazy shit, you see crazy people, you also see people who you're like, dang, like, I didn't even realize. Like, I would talk to a lot of people and listen about what they did for work, and I was like, wow, kind of just changed my perspective on going to college and things like that. So so COVID happened. I was at school for like a year. I think I finished my freshman year of college, and then COVID happened. We went back home, and my dad and I, got into that bad argument, kicked me out, started working for those okay, I think I'm backtracking here. But yeah, so essentially started working in the industry, and then was making good money, moved down to San Diego again, tried finishing college, ended up not like getting overwhelmed with college and work at the same time, because I was like, I can't balance this. I've never had to work and do school at the same time. Right. So ended up taking a gap year to kind of just loosen it a little bit, because I know, like, it's big in the traditional, like, Asian way of, like, you have to finish school, you have to get good grades. And so, like, I had to kind of separate myself from my entire family and go and just, start working and making money. And at this point, I'd read one book about real estate, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is what I want to do.
Do you remember what the book was?
It's called Real Estate Riches by Dolph DeRoos. It's an older book. A lot of people read Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah, it's always the first
It's
one.
always Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's funny. I picked up that book and I read like the first chapter, and I was like, I can't do this. I don't know what it was about that book. Like, nothing against, Kiyosaki, but for me, that wasn't the book that did it. It was called Real Estate Riches. And I just remember I had listened to a couple of this guy's podcasts and read a couple of his books, and just I really liked the guy. For me, it was him that sold me on real estate than anything else.
Okay.
Because I love the idea of, investing. I love that it's a tangible asset. It can build, appreciate value, the tax benefits. Like there's so many benefits to investing in real estate. And I just didn't realize that, you could literally make a career out of that.
Right.
So once I found out about that, I just, I was already very frugal. So I was saving up a lot of money in my job. Like I saved up 50 grand in like a year and a half. And I was like, this is what I want to put it into. I want to buy some real estate. So, and then ended up buying those 3 properties out in Oklahoma, which was like my foot in the door. And I was 22 and knew nothing except for what I read from that one book.
Right.
So I just really threw myself in there. But I learned
that's awesome though, because like on multiple levels, that's awesome. Like, because you have so many people that like they have to overanalyze everything, analysis paralysis. You have engineers who are super, super smart people. Like every time I meet an engineer, I'm like, oh, you're one of the smart people.
Imagine what you could do if you applied that knowledge somewhere else, where you're not having to work for somebody else. You're figuring out how to make money for yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
but they get everything has to be like a spreadsheet, and they got to get it down like perfect to the T, and everything has to go this way. And there's with real estate, I think it's harder for the engineer mindset kind of person. Not all engineers, not some engineers think differently, but like for the person who has that engineer kind of mindset, it's harder for them to take that first step because they want to make sure everything works perfectly, and they come out the other end just like they planned. And that's never how it works with like running a business, especially with real estate.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you had the mindset to kind of just jump into it, only having read one book, that in and of itself is pretty amazing. And then on top of that, you were 22, which is even more amazing because most 22-year-olds are just nowhere near that mindset, especially nowadays.
Yeah, especially nowadays. Yeah. I think just getting kicked out at a young age, and it's like you can either sink or swim, like I had this intrinsic drive that I wanted to make it. It was also kind of like a, fuck you dad type of situation where it's like, I'm going to show you what I can do. You think I'm a failure. Like he really, like it was me and my sisters. Like I was always the rebellious one, even though I never did anything. Like I argued with him all the time. And I just remember him always saying that I would never do anything with my life. And I'm just like, okay, let me just show you what I can do, because I believe in myself, and I think that's the most important thing. So like being, given that independence at such a young age, and then also talking to people and listening to people's stories, it just really opened up my perspective to what I could do with my life. And it was like, once I realized, like, like, what do they call it? Neuroplasticity. Like you can change the way you think, the way you feel, just based off of like how you perceive certain situations, and just being adaptable to like circumstances, like pivoting, figuring out like for my properties. Oh man, this is a story in and of itself. So when I saved up that $50,000, threw myself into buying some property out in Oklahoma. There were 3 properties out there. It was actually through a partnership. So that was another thing too, why I was able to get into it so quickly, was because I didn't do it by myself. Like it was in a partnership with people who I felt like were more experienced than me. And I was like, this to me makes sense. This is a shortcut, right? Because I don't have, like, if somebody's already done in real estate investing, like I can just give them my money. They can show me the ropes, and then, I'll go from there. Like that to me was like, it was worth it. Like a lot of $50,000 is like college tuition, like nothing nowadays. Right. So it's like, but I got to own property, and I got to, be a business owner and learn so many things and create like an incredible network through that. So,
and arguably that's a better return on your investment than going 100%. To spending that 50 grand on school.
Yeah. Especially since you don't know like what school is really gonna, like, nobody uses their degrees anymore nowadays. Like it's crazy. And you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars plus student loans, and you're paying that off for years and years of your life. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you already know what you want to do, like doctors, lawyers, yeah, maybe you need to go to school for that, right? If you know what you want to do, like that's legitimate. Yes, go to school because you are saving people's lives if you're a doctor, and as you should. But
it's exactly how I think. Like I've been saying that since I was in high school, and I'm an old fucker. Like I was just like if you have a specific thing that you need extra schooling for, doctor, lawyer, whatever, go to school. But like everybody's just going to school because you were told you were supposed to. and very few people used the degree that they got in school. You know, I mean, I knew people that were engineers that were waiting tables. You know, I'm just like, why did you waste that money on school? And my mindset at the time, I've always had the mindset that I wanted to build something of my own, but I didn't really have a pathway for most of my life. I just had random ideas. But like, to me, I was doing construction, and I was working for a company doing construction, and I got in as a laborer for like a big company. And then, you know, you could work yourself up from a laborer to a supervisor to a project manager to a regional manager. And you could probably do that in like a 4 or 5 year period. And then by the time you're done, you're making, you know, 150 grand, you know, maybe 200 grand if you're a regional manager, something like that, or maybe more nowadays. But this is in the 90s.
Yeah.
But you're gonna spend money to go to school, and then you're gonna get out with a project management degree, and you're probably not going to use it, or maybe you might use it in like a company like that, but you're going to have no experience. We had this 26-year-old kid. He was younger than me, but he's 24. And they hired him as a supervisor, and he didn't know anything, like at all. Like I had to teach him everything because he didn't know anything at all. He just knew what school taught him and how to manage construction.
Yeah, at that point, it's like it's not even about what you know in school. It's about the experience, the knowledge, right? Like one thing that, so I'm still working with the company North Italia, but when they hired me, they hired me based off of personality, because you can teach skill, but you can't teach charisma.
For sure.
So them seeing that potential and then being able to train somebody from ground zero is honestly better, because then, you know, they have no preconceived notions about, you know, this is the way that I've been doing this and I want to keep it up. And then you have to change their habits, and that makes things complicated.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's interesting that you say that.
My first bartending job, I played soccer most of my life, and I was a goalkeeper. The guy who gave me the job was my sweeper, and he was the manager of the bar. And I was asking him if he needed like a door guy or something. He's like, not really. He's like, but I need a bartender. I'm like, I don't know anything about bartending. Like I've waited tables, I've done cooking, but I don't know how to make any drinks. He's like, I'd rather hire you than somebody who comes out of bartending school.
Yeah.
He's like, because I can teach you what you need to know for my bar. He's like, and I can teach you how to get through all that, and you can learn the drinks as you go.
Yeah. I didn't know you bartended.
Yeah. In Austin at Shakespeare's on 6th Street in Austin. It was cool.
Was that a restaurant?
It's a bar.
It was
like
a bar.
6th Street in Austin. I don't know if you know anything about Austin, but 6th Street is like 4 or 5 blocks. They block it off like Thursday through Saturday, and people just walk across, and it's just like blocks and blocks and blocks of bars. Like 6th Street is famous like for the amount of bars that are on that 6th Street. Yeah.
So you know the builds for all the cocktails and things like that, or
not anymore?
Oh.
It's been so. I did, at one time, but now I'm like, what was in that drink?
Yeah.
I was in '96 that I bartended like at a bar like in downtown. And then since then, I might have bartended at restaurants and stuff, but those are usually restaurant specific.
Yeah.
You know, they have their special drinks, and then you have your generic regular drinks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. I mean, man, the industry is so easy to get sucked into.
Yes.
Like, man,
so hard to get out of.
It's so hard to get out of. Yeah. So, I mean, did you only work that one job?
No.
Okay.
No, I've had the majority of my life has been construction.
Yeah.
And then if I wasn't doing construction, or in addition to doing construction, I was in the hospitality business for the most part. Had a couple sales jobs here and there, but the majority of my life has been construction and hospitality. Yeah. Cooking, serving, or bartending.
Yeah, it's crazy because you get the bottom of the barrel people who just need a job. You know, you actually get ex-felons, you know, who can't get a job, and they'll put them in food prep, or put them in doing dishes and stuff, and it's just like the turnover rate is crazy. Like you get people just doing crazy shit. You know what I mean? Like it's wild. And a lot of people, when they get into it, like they're just like, wow, I'm making good money. And then they're also spending good money. Right. And then you just get roped into this thing, and 10 years later, you're like 40 years old, and you're like, damn.
Still waiting tables.
You're still waiting tables at 40.
Yeah. I finally worked my way up to bartender 5 years ago.
Yeah, I know. And I actually got so lucky. Like, so I got it started in the industry when I was 19, was serving. And then as soon as I turned 21, I started bartending.
Nice.
And I just turned 25. And it was like, holy shit, it's been 4 or fucking years since I started bartending. Like, I'm just like, that flew by so fast. And it wasn't even like I'm getting roped into it. Like, I don't really hang out with my coworkers. You know, I'm very selective with the people I spend my time with because I have to be, especially in our field, like in real estate and with what I want to do with my career and investing and stuff. Like, I know I cannot be, you know, spending my time hanging out at bars or going out clubbing. Like, it's like, I could, you know, and I could live out my young years while I'm, you know, still hot and whatever. But like, I'm like, realistically, like, I feel like I'm on a timeline. Like, my parents are getting older. Like, I want to eventually come back to my family and like be able to be in their lives again. But it's just the fact that I dropped out of college, you know, I feel like ashamed. I can't go back to them and talk to them until I feel like I have something to show for it, you know? And I just want that for myself too. Like, I want to make it when I'm young so I can still go out and enjoy the world and treat my sisters and my family while they're still young and they're not, you know, bones breaking and this and that. Like, I want to be able to travel and take them out and do these things while we're still young because life is short, you know? So that's another like driving factor for me too. Everybody keeps telling me like, enjoy your 20s. And I'm like, I do. Like,
this is me enjoying my 20s.
Exactly. Yeah, this is me enjoying my like, I feel like I'm happiest when I'm doing what I'm passionate about, which is building my career, investments, whatever it is. Having good conversations, good company is so important to me. Like, after, like, I feel so good right now. Like, we're just sitting here having a wholesome conversation, talking about life and getting to know each other. Like, this stuff is what I live for, you know? Like, do this with like a nice view. We're sipping on some, you know, I'm sipping on non-alcoholic wine. Like, I can't do alcohol. I'm a bartender that's allergic to alcohol.
Oh no, really?
I know.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Oh, so bad. It's so bad for you. No, it's actually like the biggest blessing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like, again, I'm big on health, and so I'm like, I don't need it. Like,
the healthiest thing in the world is to not drink ever.
No, literally.
I figure I'm definitely far away from being the healthiest person in the world. But I'm working on changing that now.
Yeah, 100%.
But the one thing I'll never give up is my whiskey. I love my whiskey.
You love your
whiskey and my bourbon. I'll still, and I don't drink a ton. Yeah. You know what I mean? I like right now. I'll go out with you know, my friends one night a week, and that's not even every week. Yeah. You know, like I've gone 3 months without going out at all, and then I just went out these last 2 weeks in a row with a buddy of mine, him and his girlfriend and stuff. But like, I don't drink a ton, but I love my whiskey.
No, and that's what I think cocktails should be. Is just you're enjoying the spirit for what it is, for the taste. You're not drinking to get drunk. Yeah. You know, like, why would you want to drink to get drunk? Like, that's not what it is. You're experiencing food, you know, like, that's why people like to pair wine with food. It's like, it's a different experience. It's a tasting experience. Your dog's name is Whiskey, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
We want to get another one and name it Bourbon.
Oh, shut up. That would be the best thing ever. And another one Scotch.
Right. Yep.
That would be awesome. Yeah, but I mean, I love a good old fashioned, you know? Like, I can only just take sips of my cocktails, but it's just like, you'll try it and be like, that was a good cocktail, you know? Like, I don't need a whole thing.
I need to get my brother to teach me how to make old fashions the way he does, because his are my favorite. He makes really good old fashions. Yeah. He works at Capitol Grill. Okay. In Scottsdale Quarter. It's a like a high-end steak restaurant. Yeah, I need him to teach me how, because old fashions are 50-50, you know what I mean? Depending on where you go, like, like sometimes if they put too much bitters in it, I don't like it. No. It's got to be the right amount of bitters.
Yeah, it has to be a perfectly balanced cocktail. Yeah. Yeah. So like at our restaurant, like, we'll actually put a little bit of Fernets. I don't know if it's a Italian, like, kind of herbal liqueur. Okay. But it adds a really nice, like, flavor to the cocktail. Really? So yeah, so we'll make like an old fashioned syrup that has like brown sugar, white sugar, Ango bitters, a little bit of bourbon, and then that Fernet. Yeah. And it creates this like syrup that it makes it easier when we're prepping the cocktail, so we don't have to, like, you know, crush the sugar cubes and stuff and make it on the spot, because a lot of times we're making like 7 cocktails at the same time at once, because you'll get tickets lined up. Like, we'll get 20 tickets. Like, we just got our shit rocked last night, you know, like, we were super busy because it's like grad weekend, and, you know, poor Katie, my friend's just in the well and she's dying over here and she's making like so many cocktails. But yeah, so just a little bit of like adding one ingredient to that like old fashioned syrup mix, and then you just 2 ounces of whiskey, 2 ounces of bourbon, and then it just creates this like really, it's a good old fashioned. You should try.
I now want to come to your restaurant just to try that old fashioned. 100%.
Yeah, come visit me. Good. Yeah. I work at the North Italia in Gilbert.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you been to North Italy?
I've not yet. I've heard it. I know
Dude,
it's super
good.
popular.
It is
It's got a
very
good reputation for sure.
You gotta come try it. Yeah, I'll get you 35% off.
Right on.
Yeah, well, not drinks but food.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, that company has given me so much. Like I'm genuinely so grateful. Like I wouldn't.
Is that the
change
one you
a single
started
thing.
with?
So DoorDash shipped, and then went to that brunch company when I was still living up in El Dorado Hills, and then when I moved down to San Diego, North Italia was the first job that I got.
Okay.
I had applied to like 10, 12 different restaurants because I was like, oh, I can easily just go down there. I'll get another serving job because I was already serving. That was how I got my first job at that brunch place back home. And I was like, I just walked in and they were hiring because they were so desperate for servers because it was a hard freaking job. Like you got your shit rocked. Like their turnover rate was insane, and it was hard for them to keep people there because it was such a brutal job. So that's why they hired me and trained me from ground zero. But I knew nothing about like how to pair wines with food. I knew nothing about cocktails, nothing about like, I didn't even know half of the ingredients that were on the damn menu. Like I learned from zero, but they trained me again from ground zero because they were like, they saw the potential in me, and they trained me from pretty much nothing. Like it took a lot of time to kind of get me comfortable with, talking to guests and, being able to pair them a wine that works well with their food, and tasting notes of liquors and all this stuff. Like now I never imagined myself to be a bartender, but now that I'm doing it, I'm like, I freaking love it. It's so fun to be able to just whip up a cocktail real quick, and have somebody tell me what tasting notes they like and what type of, like, just help them enjoy their experience of sitting there and having food and drinks, and just you know growing as a person. I think like it's helped me build a lot of confidence in myself, that's for sure, because like
I think that it's a different industry, like because my brother's in like a higher end situation also, and he always has been. I've always kind of been on the other side of the spectrum. My first bartending job was downtown at a college town. You know what I mean? So like my advice was, he's like, listen, he's like, I'll start you out during the day. So with daytime bartender, you just mostly regulars. You'll get like little groups of people who will come in. He's like half the time people are ordering, like what they're telling you is what's in the drink, whiskey and Coke or whatever. Like the ingredients are the name of the drink, He's like, if they ask for something that you don't know, he's like, just ask them what's in it. They'll tell you. He's like, if they don't know, he's like, ask them what color it is. He's like, make it that color. If they don't know what's in their own drink, they'll drink it if it looks like what they had.
Dude, they just be coming up with the stupidest name. Screwdriver, orange juice, and freaking vodka. Greyhound, vodka and fucking grapefruit juice. Just tell me grapefruit juice and vodka juice. What the hell is it? Sex on the beach? What kind of a fucking cocktail name is that? You know what I mean? Like they just be calling it the randomest shit, and it's just like the easiest cocktail. Because at our bar, like, we'll do infusions, we'll do mixes, we'll use a lot of liqueurs, like the fancy stuff. Like we'll actually like sous vide in a Ziploc bag liquor with like ginger and vanilla beans and things like that. So we'll do the whole thing.
See, I never did any of that. Like I was just like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Shut up, I'll get to you. You know what I mean?
I wish I could talk to my guests like that. My God, some people have
that was what I definitely, and back in the day, like when I was in my 20s, I was a very angry person anyway. So it worked out perfectly. Because I could just tell people to fuck off. They didn't know. Oh, I'm telling you, who are you gonna tell, bro? I was like, my manager doesn't care. My manager's right over there. You can go talk to her.
She'll tell you to fuck off too.
I have 100%. I have all the control over your happiness tonight.
Exactly.
So don't piss me off, because you'll just sit there without a drink all night.
Man, I wish I could do that.
The bar, when I bartended at, there was a couple of restaurants I bartended at, but I had to be a little bit better, but the restaurants I was working at were not high end restaurants. Like I bartended at like Joe's Crab Shack and a couple other places, but like, and it was the Joe's Crab Shack downtown in San Antonio on the Riverwalk. And the restaurant right next door was Dick's Last Resort. I don't know if you ever heard of Dick's Last Resort. There's like 3 of them, but it's called Dick's for a reason, because they're really shitty to you. And so like when you walk in the front door, like you're like, if you have to push the door to get in, it says pull. So people are doing this trying to get in. And then like if like they're not super nice at all, like if you ask for a straw, all their straws have paper on them, and they'll stick them in your drink and stir it with the paper on it because you asked for a straw. But But
my God.
so there, it's you go for the experience. You know what I mean? But it's and it's been popular and it hasn't gone out of business. But like that's kind of what you're getting when you go there.
Yeah.
And you still get your food and they joke with you, but it's a very relaxed, laid back, like joking environment. But that also kind of comes natural to me. So when I was working at Joe's Crab Shack, I was very like I walked the line of like being inappropriate with your customers, and they'd be like, you're kind of rude. But like if there were 4 dudes there, I would make fun of one and the others would laugh at him. But then I'd make fun of the other one and the others would, so everybody would get it. You know what I mean? And so most of them were cool, but you'd always have the one that had to make a comment about like, well, you're kind of rude for a server. And I'm like, we're right next to Dick's. It just rubs off.
Yeah.
You know, that was my go-to for that.
It kind of rubs off.
Yeah. Dude, like for birthdays, what they would do is they would take like for a kid's birthday or something, or anybody's birthday, they, like especially a kid though, because you could carry him.
Yeah.
They'd put the kid in a seat and they'd saran wrap him to the seat, and then they'd pick him up and bring him over to our restaurant and stick him in the middle of our restaurant and just walk off, leave him. And he's like, hi, he'd laugh for a little while, and we'd leave him there for a little bit. He'd laugh for a little while, and then he'd look around like,
is anybody gonna help
is
me?
anybody gonna help me? And then we'd let him out, and he'd go back to his restaurant. But they wouldn't come back. They would just leave him there and leave.
The industry is crazy.
Yeah. But so I will say that that was good for me at the time, because I did not have the mindset to be what you have to be at a nicer restaurant. But on the flip side of that, I never really got to like really get deep into like the science of making really good drinks and kind of, you know, the real history of a lot of them and where it comes from and like the best ways to make it and like pairing certain drinks with other things like that. I never really got into that, which I feel I'm a little bummed about, because it would be nice to really kind of experience that.
Well, do you do that now when you go to eat at restaurants at least?
No, I don't like wine, so I never do the wine thing.
You can still do it with cocktails.
Yeah, you can do it with cocktails, but I just drink my whiskey.
You just straight whiskey.
Well, no, I usually drink whiskey and 7.
Okay.
I usually like Crown and 7 is
Crown
my
7
go-to at a restaurant, because everybody has Crown. I don't really drink Crown at home anymore. I drink Larceny. It's a bourbon actually, but it's smooth, but it's still about the same price point as Crown, but it's better than Crown. Huh. It's smoother. Okay. I would drink it by itself.
Larceny, that sounds like gasoline.
Yeah.
Sounds like that name. Oh my god.
Well, I like that name too, because that's technically what I committed that made me go to prison. I was like, oh my god, they have a liquor called Larceny.
Let me give it to me right now.
Yeah.
It's definitely been a journey, like all my hospitality, but now it's like I'm ready for the next step.
Yeah.
You know, I've been in hospitality for 5 years, and I think I've pretty much gotten everything that I could out of it. Like realistically, like I'm making decent money at where I'm at right now, and I literally just had this guest tell me like, you should go work for this like like really nice steakhouse basically, and like they're like they'll pay you so much better over there. And it's like, I mean, realistically, if I was looking for more money, 100% I would go over there. But I'm happy with where I'm at, because you know I've you know, I actually really like my coworkers. They're super chill, they're really nice, they're fun to work with, and I feel like I've got the seniority there. Like I'm good at my fucking job. You know, don't tell me what to do. If there's one thing I don't like, authority. I don't like being told what to do. And it's like, if I'm going to respect you, I'm going to respect you because I want to respect you, not because I've been told to respect you. So a lot of times these managers like to like get up their ass about, you know, it's a power trip for them, because they're like, I'm ranked higher than you, so I get to treat you like shit. You know what I mean? And I hate that. I fucking hate that.
Yeah, when I was in my 20s, like I said, I was really angry.
Yeah.
So I had a hard time holding a job, because I'd be there for 6 months and I would tell the manager in the most flowery language I could come up with what I thought of him and how much he sucked and how bad he was at his job. But I would never quit. So I would just, every time I'd be kind of shitty.
Yeah.
And I'd push it and push it and push it. And eventually they'd be like, all right, motherfucker, you're out of here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Which I deserved. You know what I mean? I should not have talked to my managers that way regardless, but I was still right. I just could have done it differently, or just been like, whatever, and gone about my job. You know what I mean?
Just go find another job.
Yeah.
Wait, but also if you get fired, they have to give you, do they give
unemployment?
You exactly. Yeah. So it's almost better to get fired than to just quit.
I never took unemployment though. I don't know. I was angry about it, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I was just like, I don't need unemployment. I'll just get another job.
Fuck y'all.
But, yeah.
So, I mean, it's just so interesting how you're such a like polar opposite from the person that you were in your 20s. Like what did it for you? Like Did you have a defining moment in your life?
It's been a long growth.
Yeah.
A very long growth. Yeah, my 20s was rough. I was angry. I was mean, violent. I used to get into fights because it made me feel better to find somebody in a bar to pick on till I would piss them off enough to swing. You know what I mean? And then I was like, oh, now I can fight you. You know,
give me a reason to fight you.
And I've had my ass kicked plenty of times by people I shouldn't have, by wrong people I picked fights with. You know, but it was. I was just so angry that it was my release somehow. And then
was there a reason for all that anger?
I mean, sure, you know what I mean, like you know, moms and dads and growing up, and you know how they might have, you know, raised you differently based off what they were doing. My mom was going through some things when I was younger, and she had me when she was 19, and she had her own issues from her parents, you know, and so she's a great mom. She's a wonderful mom, but she used to yell and scream a lot. And it always made me feel like, you know, after you get older and you learn about how things affect children and things like that, like it was made me feel like I wasn't good enough. I couldn't do it. I was always doing the wrong thing. I didn't know what I was doing. Nothing I did was good. And so that kind of embedded itself in me. So in my 20s, that came out in, if you say something I don't like, I have to prove to you that I'm smarter than you, better than you, and I know more than you. And by making you feel worse about yourself, or by hurting you. And that was that's how it came out in me. Even now, like sometimes I feel like if somebody stops, like, and there's like a stoplight and there's a car, and then they leave like 2 car lengths in front of them instead of pulling all the way up to the car. Like, I'm like, why are you so stupid? You know, but in my brain I say that, but I'm like, who cares? It has nothing to do with me, you know? But like when I was younger, I'd like pull up to that guy, roll down my window, and tell him how stupid he was. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. That's so crazy. But also what I've learned is, because I started going to therapy in my early 30s, and going to a therapist and just, you know, counselor, talking about like why I kind of do the things I do. And kind of what we figured out was my brain it's incorrect to say it doesn't create serotonin. That's an easy way to say that I have a serotonin problem. After, my girlfriend's a psychiatrist, so after meeting her, she's like, everybody's brain creates serotonin. You just don't have the connectors to connect their serotonin to your brain.
Have you never, or
like at all? Like, I actually take medicine. And I don't like taking medicine at all. And but I've been taking it for years, and it's literally changed my life.
Wow.
Yeah. It's artificial serotonin, kind of, not really, but what it does is it makes your serotonin work correctly.
So you feel happiness.
Right. Like thing, right? What happens is, because it's your happy drug, you know?
Yeah.
And so like, since I didn't have it, it was normal to me when somebody did something stupid, I would go from 0 to like 115 instantly with no filter. And then I had to express that because there was no serotonin telling me, like, hold on a minute, like, is that really a big deal? You know what I mean? Is some tiny thing would be a big deal to me because it was stupid, or you were stupid, or that was a dumb idea. And when I started I take a Celexa, which is, I guess it's a standard like serotonin drug.
Okay.
And there's like 0 side effects. Like, I mean, I think there are side effects, but they're super minimal or unlikely.
Okay.
So like, even when I did go to the doctor, because I was going to a counselor, not a psychiatrist, so she had to send me to a doctor, and the doctor's like, yeah, he's like, I really don't have a problem just subscribing this because there's not really a downside. And it literally, I'd been taking it for about 3 days. And they were like, give it a couple weeks to kind of kick in, you know what I mean? Because she had originally recommended, because I have ADD also, and she'd originally recommended what's the shit everybody wants that keeps you awake? Adderall? Adderall. She originally gave me Adderall. Okay. And I originally didn't want to take that because I'm like, I'm not trying to take meth. You know what I mean? Like, what do I need meth for? I don't like doing drugs. You know what I mean?
Have you done drugs?
I've never done any drug
you've
ever.
Never done drugs. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I haven't either.
I just got a bottle of, it's called Willie's Remedy.
Okay.
and it's got THC in it, and it's non-alcoholic. So I'm thinking about having a drink of that, and that'll be the first time I've ever taken anything like THC. I'm not like I have no problem with pot. I think pot's great. I think it's way better than alcohol. You know what I mean? And I'm a fan of alcohol. But it's, you know, people, nobody gets high on pot and then like turns into an asshole and wants to fight people. You know what I mean? People get high on pot and they're just like, "What's up, man? We're just hanging out. Like, tell me a story," you know? Or they, you know, they get, you know, the worst thing they might do is drive to the store really slowly to get some more munchies, you know?
Because
they're not hauling ass through, you know, because they think they're invincible, you know? And nowadays they're probably just ordering off DoorDash because it's a lot of work to get in the car and drive to the store. You know?
Don't drive drunk and high too, though. Oh my God.
So like, you know, I really think that, and it's a plant, you know what I mean? It's natural. And so I don't have a problem with marijuana. I just never smoked it. You know, I had a problem with it when I was younger because of the way, you know, I went through the whole just say no to drugs, and you know, everybody told you pot's the gateway drug. If you do pot one time, you're going to be a drug addict and you're going to die of a heroin overdose, you know, which obviously is not what pot is, you know, and it's got so many like medical benefits to people who have cancer, people who are like, it's got medical benefits in addition to just being a recreational, I just want to like relax after work kind of thing, you know? So I'm not anti-pot at all, but, or marijuana, but this will be the first time I've ever had anything if I have some.
Wait, so you're thinking you still haven't taken it
yet? No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you drink it? Like,
yeah, it looks like a whiskey bottle. It's a bottle of it's a drink.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's basically a drink that's THC infused, and it's non-alcoholic. So they advertise it as something that you can like come home and have a drink, but you don't get the negative effects of the alcohol, and you don't get the, you know, the grogginess, and you don't get the shitty feeling. So I'm gonna wait till after I get off probation, which is January. So gotcha. But I got it anyway, and my friend's been taking it, and she was like, dude, that it's great. Like I sleep better, you know, and all this stuff. But all that to say, I haven't yet. So at the time when she was telling me about Adderall, like I knew enough about it to be like, I'm taking methamphetamine. Like, why am I doing this? You know what I mean? I don't want to take any drugs at all. Because when I'm old, I'm going to have to at some point. So I want to avoid drugs as long as I possibly can. I took that for about a month, didn't like it, didn't do anything that she said it would probably do for me. So I told her I didn't want to take it anymore. And so that's when she said I should try the Celexa. And I've been taking it 3 days. They were telling me like, give it a couple weeks to get in. Cause she was like, I know you're going to come back and be like, it's not doing anything. I don't want to take it anymore, you know? And 3 days into it, I was working at a car wash. I was doing sales at a car wash. And my normal routine would be like 90% of the people that came through the car wash, I fucking hated. Like you were either stupid or you were an asshole. And, you know, cause you know, your car looks like shit. You need this. And you're like, nah, 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 nah. Or like the people that would roll down their windows like a couple inches and throw the coupon out the window and then roll the window up because they're afraid to talk to you. Oh, I hated those people. So this lady did that, and I've been taking it about 3 days. This lady did that, and I was just like, I looked at the coupon on the ground. I was like, oh, fucking really? And I went down, picked it up. I'm like, and I just gently knocked on the door, and I was like, ma'am, I was like, I still need to know which one of these 3 washes you want, you know? And so she like rolled down her window. She's like, just the basic, just the basic. I'm like, all right, put it on the window, let her go. Didn't feel any kind of way about it. And I got back to like my stand where you stand like waiting for people. And it dawned on me. I was like, I wasn't even mad at her.
Yeah.
Like I should be in my brain pulling her out of her car. You know what I mean? Like I never would do that physically, especially to a woman, but like I might do it to a dude. But in my brain, that's what I would want to do. You know what I mean? Because she was so stupid. And then I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute, I haven't been mad all day. And it's about halfway through the day. You know what I mean? I was like, I've been mad all day. Like I haven't been mad at anybody all day. And I was like, oh, this is what normal people feel like. Because my whole life, to me, why aren't you as mad as me about it? Like, is this stupid? You're like, yeah, that's stupid. I agree with you, Tabor. Well, then why aren't you mad about it? Like, you should be just as mad as me. And they're like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, it fucking does matter. You know what I mean? I got, you know? And so, like, for the first time in my life, I saw myself the way other people saw me. Because I was like, oh, I am fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like, no wonder people are like, dude, just relax, Tabor. It's not that big a deal. Because it was the first time I felt like normal people. And like, and that's what I was told it would do, was it just gives you that buffer, gives you that, like, it just kind of helps keep you sane a little bit. You know what I mean? Instead of going from 0 to 100, you'll go from 0 to 75, get a chance to think about it a little bit, and then decide if you need to go to 100. You know, and 9 out of 10 times you don't ever need to go. You go to 75 and you're like, meh, whatever. And you go back down to 0. So that's helped a lot, in addition to lots of counseling. And then, so having that, the buffer was just enough to get me to stop and think about the things I was learning, and then learn to manage the things I had issues with that in my personality that made me think a certain way and be a certain way. The medicine gave me the opportunity to take the things I was learning about myself and then learn to manage that and grow from it. So I'm definitely grateful for the medicine, for that, at least.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah. That's crazy how, like, you remember that moment exactly when that happened, and you were like, wow. Yeah,
like it was like an epiphany.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, that's how night and day different. Like, I think normal people are from, like, people who happen to have whatever chemical imbalance I had. Was that, like, I literally, you could tell me all day that I wasn't normal and it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell me all day that that wasn't worth me getting that mad about. And I thought you were crazy, because it is worth getting mad about. We need to correct this situation.
Yeah.
And then finally getting that, whether I literally said that to myself. I was like, oh my God, this is what normal people feel like.
Yeah.
And it was such a relief. Like, you don't know until it's not there anymore how heavy anger is, and how heavy that just frustration and anger all the time weighs on you. Like, how draining it is. Like, you have no idea till it's gone. And then I'm like, oh my God, how did I do that for 30 something years?
Wow. Yeah. And it was Adderall, you said, that did it for you? What
no,
was it?
Not Adderall. Celexa.
It was that Celexa. That's what did it for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The generic is citalopram.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's very few side effects, or the side effects it does have aren't very common. I've had no side effects from it at all. So
that's so interesting to hear.
But I do notice if I get off of it, I get edgier. I get angrier.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you take it every day type of thing? Like, okay.
Take it once a day, every day.
Wow.
Although I have grown enough that I've noticed, like, I don't immediately go back to the way I was.
Yeah.
I just get edgier, and it takes me more control and more mindset to, like, realize that I'm getting angry, and then I'm like, why am I doing this? And then I'm like, oh, I've been taking my Adderall in like 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's so interesting, because I've always wondered that, like, why do people get angry so fast? You know, like, why, like, instead of just seeing it for what it is like, oh, that dude's just a dick. Like, maybe there is some kind of chemical imbalance that's going on in his brain that I just don't know about. Maybe, like, that this person just needs help. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because it's so easy to look at an asshole and
doesn't
be like,
make him any less of a dick, though.
No, well, yeah, no, I mean, that's no excuse, obviously. You know, like, with my dad and everything, it just like maybe there is an underlying issue that we just don't know about.
There could be something that could change, but that's the thing too. Like I think that you still have to want to change.
100%, yeah.
You know, because, like, and I've noticed that with a lot of people who are angry, or who we were all fucked up. Our parents fucked us all up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Good or bad, it's not their fault. They were fucked up by their parents. Their parents were fucked up by their parents. And all we can do is try to learn through our life to fuck up our kids a little less than they did. You know what I mean? Because we're going to fuck up our kids too.
Yeah.
But, like, I think that so many people never get to the point where they're like, all right, I'm tired. I need to do something different. You know, you couldn't have told me in my 20s there was anything fucking wrong with me. Like, you were fucked up. They were fucked up. This shit needs to be fixed, and I need to do it, or I need to punch somebody in the mouth because they're doing something wrong. You know? And it was it was nuts. Like looking at it now, I'm like, that's a fucked up way to think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong at that point because of the way you handle the situation. And I think that most people, I come from a good family, so that helped. My mom had gone through a lot of counseling because of the issues she had and the baggage she had that she had been working through most of her life. And honestly, I credit my mom for encouraging me to go to counseling, because she had been going to counseling and gotten a lot out of it. And if I didn't have a mother who was working on herself,
why did I need to?
Or why would I have worked on myself? There's nothing wrong with me, you know? And so I remember finally being like, fine, I'll go. And I went, and I'll either do it or I won't, but I won't tell you I'll do it and not put the effort in. So like, I'll either tell you, fuck off, I'm not doing that shit. Or I'm like, all right, I'll go. If I say, all right, I'll go, then I will genuinely sit there and try to participate and see if there's anything I can get from it. I won't say, all right, okay, I'll go, and then like block myself off.
Yeah.
So with anything, I'm like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like even in the first session, I was like, all right, like I can do this again. And I came back, and then I started to like break the pieces apart to maybe some of my past that might have led me to this point. But then like, what are the other issues? Is there a chemical imbalance? And we found the chemical imbalance. And when that was fixed, that gave me the ability to put into action what I'd learned about myself, it gave me the ability, first off, to really, really kind of understand, and then also to be open to finding a pathway to becoming a better person. Because in my 20s, I didn't need to become a better person. I was already a great person.
Yeah.
I knew everything already.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like, and then after I went to prison, I'd already started down that journey before I went to prison.
Okay.
And prison, what led me to prison was just a financial, like, perfect storm financially that it was, I couldn't see a pathway to anything better. Like there were pathways, but it would have had to get worse before it got better. Like as an example, like I thought about becoming an electrician, but I would have had to quit my job to become an apprentice to make less money than I was already making as a kitchen manager. And then we were already like behind on our bills. So to get to the point where I was making $40 an hour, I had to take this downward. Yeah. So to me, it wasn't a pathway. And so I decided to rob banks, which is another story. But
it's a great story.
But in prison, I was very blessed that I came from a good family. Most people in prison, they come from criminal families. They come from families that have addiction problems. They're not normally, they don't come from a good family that was, tried to raise you right and didn't really have much to worry about compared to them, And so I was blessed that I had the support while I was in prison. I had, a commissary, and my mom just sent me tons of books. And I was a huge reader, loved to read. Even before prison, I loved to read. And in prison, I just had massive amounts of time to read.
Yeah.
And so I always had like a fiction book and a nonfiction book. But I spent a lot of time reading books about mental health, reading books about mindset, reading books about business, reading books about history, because I love history. And then the last 2 years, it was just like real estate books. But it gave me the opportunity, in addition to reading some of those books and the counseling that I'd been to prior to getting started on that journey, and then being thrown into a situation where I'm surrounded by people that I don't really relate to. And then they're not people I would normally hang out with in real life.
Yeah.
Because I try not to hang out with people who are drug addicts. I don't want to hang out with gangsters. I'm not trying to hang out with people who are committing a bunch of crimes, because that's not what I wanted to do, even though I committed a crime, So, but it was interesting because you're forced, normally in real life, if I was around people like that, I would just leave.
Yeah.
And I would remove myself from the situation. In prison, you can't remove yourself from the situation. This is who you live with all the time. And 95% of the people in there don't come from the background I came from. And so, you meet cool people. They're good people. They're cool people. Had a rough life, made some bad decisions, but they got a good heart, good people. You also meet pieces of shit.
Yeah.
But you learn when you meet good people and you find people that you enjoy hanging out with and you hear their stories. It was the first time I really gave myself the opportunity or was forced into a place where I had the opportunity to really listen to their side of the story and like a longer version of their side of the story and realize between society and the government and, you know, just their decisions and their life and things like that, you know, there's no excuse for selling drugs to kids, you know what I mean? Or whatever, you know, you might've done, but like
there's a reason they did what they
right.
did. Yeah.
My mom and dad are both drug addicts. My dad sells drugs.
Still?
No,
oh.
no, not me. Hypothetically,
no.
Hypothetically,
okay,
yeah.
From the
Yeah, you know, hypothetically, as one of those people, like my mom and dad sell drugs. They're drug addicts. You know what I mean? My dad sells drugs and he pays for everything. All my brothers, my older brothers and sisters are all robbing houses or selling drugs, and they're all drug addicts. Like,
they just don't
what am I supposed
better.
to be, a fucking lawyer?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like not as an excuse. None of them say that, but they're like, yeah, so like I started selling drugs, and that's just their story.
Yeah.
But on the outside, you're like, well, you don't have to make that choice. You can go do this other thing, which is easy to say and is not an untrue statement. But when you're in the mix of that, you don't know anything better. There's nobody telling you you have another option. Yeah. So you learn to have empathy for the situation. But like me personally, when I would make friends in there, I'm like, hey, I get it. Like, that sucks. Do you want to keep doing that? Do you want to keep coming here? You know, because there's a different way to do things. Yeah. There's these options. There's these other options. There's these options. But they might have never had somebody like me who knew there were other options to tell them. Yeah. And I know somebody, I'm somebody who knows other options, and I still did what I did to get there. But I was also growing and reading books and things like that. And I could at least tell them my experience in a way that maybe helped. Because there are people in there, they're just like, man, I don't know what to do. Like I'm selling drugs since I was 15 and I'm 32 and I got 2 kids and I've never had a real job. Like, what am I going to do? Yeah. And when I go apply for a job, even if I have some kind of a skill set that I've developed by being a drug dealer, which a lot of them do have really good skill sets. You know what I mean?
Great sales, right?
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But like, how do you put that on a resume? You know, and who wants to hire you? Especially like you just got out of prison and you have an addiction problem, or you did have an addiction problem. That might be a problem later on. So like, you learn to see how hard it is for them from their life. Yeah. Could they have made a different choice? Could they have decided they didn't want to do what everybody around them was doing and they wanted to go be a lawyer? Yes, they could have done that. It was physically possible to do that, but it's pretty unlikely. And so, not to give anybody an excuse for committing any crime, but I met people in prison who you could see this is all they knew how to do. Why would I do anything different? But they wanted to do something different. They wanted different options. And then there's the people who their whole goal is to figure out how to be a better criminal while they're in prison and try to manipulate everybody else around them to get something from somebody. And those people you just don't hang out with, you don't associate with. But I don't even know how we got on that subject.
No, that's totally fine. I love that you're talking about this, because I've been genuinely curious about how your experience with that has been. You know, are you still like friends with those people at all, like that you spoke to?
Some of them.
Prison?
Some of them, yeah.
Where are they at now?
One of them actually lives here.
Okay.
Yeah. And we don't like hang out or anything, because you're not supposed to at least till I get off probation.
Okay.
But we have talked, like we've text messaged and stuff like that. Because I used to ride him. We keep in touch riding. And then there's another guy that was friends with both of us, and he lives in Washington. He lives in Washington. And so we like kind of keep each other in touch with each other on Facebook and stuff. And there's another guy who's in California. He was actually a naval commander on a Navy base in California. And he's got a crazy story too, because he's not a criminal either normally. Yeah. But he worked for NCIS, which is the Naval Intelligence. His wife worked for the CIA, and she got blown up in Iraq, and because they were both in Iraq, and like they were like handing out money for like, oh, somebody died, here's some money, like, because that's how part of the culture over there is, like, you have like blood money. So if we happened to kill somebody or somebody died because of something we were doing, there were people over there who would pay off family members like blood money for us accidentally killing somebody or something like that.
Wow.
And so him and his wife did that, but she got blown up. And so she had some physical problems, and the Veterans Affairs aren't always amazing at taking care of veterans. And she, they were giving her drugs. It got her addicted to, I think, opioids of some sort. And then they cut her off. And so then she started finding it on the side and was like, with, meth and heroin. So doing both of those, which is crazy. She kind of became a crazy person, but she's super, super smart. And she was in the CIA, so she knows how to do a lot of stuff that normal people don't know how to do. So she was actually breaking into his computer and getting people's information and like stealing their identities and using it to like buy stuff and then sell stuff so she could get more drugs. Wow. And he was trying to like cover it up for her because it was his wife and still manage her at home because she was insane. But he got in trouble for basically covering it up. And then when they caught her, she told on him, and they gave her probation, and he went to prison for 3 years. Yeah. So I met him in prison, and he's a good dude. And but I keep in touch with him. Yeah.
Wow, that's insane. But I mean, I think also now that you've had that experience with your life and the people that you've met in there now, that's kind of what you've made your goal. Now your long-term vision of helping these people who, need a little bit of guidance where, they grew up in a hostile environment or around drugs and in a family that just didn't know how to put them in the right direction. Right. So, and I just think that is so cool that that's kind of become your niche and that's what you really want to focus on. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I know what it feels like mentally being in the situation where I didn't see a pathway, and I had options. You know what I mean? My dad's a financial planner, and I tried to work for him for, and it's just not my brain doesn't work in that environment.
I mean, real estate's kind of similar investing, like,
right? But real estate's a different kind of investing. Yeah. Like when I remember when I was reading my real estate books, I'm like, oh, like I can make as much money as my dad does, or as people that my dad work. I could be somebody that would be a client of my dad's because I can make that much money. That much money's out there in real estate, but it's also something that that clicked with me. I could understand. Yeah. I did construction most of my life. So it was something that I could understand, and I hear enough about people that we're working for who are flipping houses and things like that. Flipping houses had always kind of been in the back of my brain as something I could do someday.
Now you're flipping mobile homes.
Right. Now I'm flipping mobile homes. But it was something that clicked. And then even like the numbers weren't something that were, because like the numbers with financial planning I'm not a math guy. So those numbers, I'm just like, oh my God.
Like, what am I looking at? Yeah.
Trying to figure all that out.
Yeah.
But the numbers with real estate I catch and I understand and I get it. You know what I mean? And I get how it all correlates with like when you own some property, it's not just am I cash flowing? It's my cash flowing. I'm also getting appreciation. I'm getting depreciation. Somebody else is paying down my debt. So it's all those different ways to make money on real estate that you learn. And then you're just like, oh, wow. Then you get excited and then it's cool. And then you want to learn more about it.
I went through the same thing when I read that book. I was like, the possibilities are truly endless. Like,
yes.
Yeah. So even now, my projects that I'm working on. So my background's been in single family residential stuff, right? I just sold off all 3 of those properties that I had in Oklahoma.
You should tell that story. You were telling it earlier and we got distracted.
Yeah,
but you should tell that story.
Super distracted. But yeah, so worked in the industry for about 1.5 years and saved up like $50,000. Ended up totaling my car. So I spent $15,000 on a new car. And then I had $35,000 to invest. And I was basically approached by these guys who were like, we have this plan to buy 3 properties out in Oklahoma. This is the projected timelines. This is the projected returns. We'll teach you everything we know about real estate. They had done that. When I asked them what their experience was, they said, we did wholesaling. And at that point, I didn't even know what wholesaling was. So I was like, well, you know more than I do. Let's make this happen.
Right.
So I have money. And so I gave it to them. We bought three properties out in Oklahoma for $60,000.
Okay.
Dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Dirt freaking cheap. And in hindsight, it actually would have been a really great investment if it had been done the right way. Fair market rent for a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house in that city is $1,000. And if you're buying houses, if you got a house for $20,000 and your rent is $1,000, dude, the spread is crazy, right? You could be cash flowing like crazy off of those. So yeah. So anyways, we get into business. I give them my money. We buy the properties, and things are like so exciting, right? I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a property owner. This is so cool, you know. And we're doing these weekly calls, and they're giving me updates on, you know, the property, this and that, and where were we at. So the original plan was that we would buy the first prop. We would buy the three properties, fix one up, and then sell that, and then use the proceeds from that sale to kind of fix the other two up, and either keep them as rentals or flip them or whatever made most financial sense. So we actually had like a plan of what we were going to do. But you know, then the capital calls started happening like every month, like $300 here, $500 there, $700 here, and I was just like, what's happening? You know, like why are we not getting the returns that you guys said we would? Like we're approaching, you know, a year, and now it's a year and a half, and like we're still putting money into this thing. Like what's our plan, guys? Like what's going on? Turns out they didn't know what they were doing. They filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and they basically were like, yeah, good luck. They left me with a company that was just like, we had thousands of dollars on the Amex that wasn't paid off. We had a overdrawn bank account balance. We owed our CPA $1,500. All the while, the properties that we had were generating expenses. Like the toilet was breaking. Like one of the freaking pipes in the kitchen burst because we didn't. What do they call it? Like where you drain all the pipes, you winterize. Yeah, when they didn't winterize the properties, and then all of a sudden the fucking kitchen was wrecked. Like the one pipe burst, and like the entire ceiling basically fell off. And I was like, I looked at the pictures, and I was like, oh my god, like what, like this is my like what do I do with this?
This was after they had
basically already
gone,
said,
so this is
this is my problem. This is my problem. But at this point, we actually hadn't had anything written in the paperwork. Like nothing was like signed that said officially that they gave the company to me. Like it was all just, they just disappeared essentially, but like their names were still on the papers. So like when I went to try to sell the two properties, like we got to close to closing, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be the one to sign. And then they looked at the operating agreement, and they're like, well, you don't have management rights in this company, so you can't sign at closing. And at this point, like I hadn't been in contact with them for like months, and so I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? Like I need to get these properties sold. Like I cannot keep up with these payments. Like and at this point, like I was just so like stressed, and I wanted to like get them like offloaded. I didn't want to have anything to do with being a landlord and owning these things, and I wanted to move into different projects, and you know, paid lawyers like hundreds, like thousands of dollars to basically tell them. They told me to walk away from it. They were just like, it wouldn't make sense for you to go after these assets because you would probably need to spend that much money anyways, just trying to chase them. You know what I mean? Like there's just not enough money there that would make sense for you to like proceed with any type of like litigation and stuff. Um, so yeah, I mean, eventually, you know, I started reaching out to people that I knew at the bar, and I just started telling them like, hey, I'm kind of in a fucked situation right now. Like, do you know anybody? And, you know, one of my regulars, Chris, referred me to his guy, Ray. And then Ray referred me to Dante, who's like my mentor that basically taught me everything about creative finance.
Nice.
And, you know, all the while I was going through that, like Dante literally gets on the phone with these guys, and he calls them. He's like, so what's going on here? Like he skip traced them, found out their address and everything. Like I had no idea.
They straight ghosted you.
Like they straight just like, yeah, they were just like, we can't. Well, they like transferred everything over, like all the management accounts and stuff. Like they gave the bank account to me over, like they had done all of that, and then they just said like peace, but like we didn't officiate it because it was not signed off in paperwork saying that they were giving me their shares in the company and that everything was like mine basically. So on paper, even though they weren't there, like they were still on paper like a part of the company.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so then Dante basically skip traces them, calls them up, and he just kind of threatens them, and he's just like, so you took her money, like how are you guys going to get it back to her? Like they wanted to be bought out for their share of the company. It was like, first of all, that's my money that we put in this.
Right.
Like knowing now what I know, like I should have like somehow guaranteed my investment, right? Like because that's my money, I need to like somehow get away, like have a way for me to get that money back if in case the thing fails, right? So that's how most business partnerships, like there's some sort of collateral, there's some sort of way for these investors to guarantee that even if things don't work out and things don't go to plan, you know, the way that you guys say that you would as operators of the company, like there's a way for me to get my money back. But there was, we didn't do any of that when we created the LLC. So
Yeah.
like the fact that they were demanding me to pay them out, I was like, all of our equity is locked up in these houses that are literally generating expenses every month. Like, how do you want me to pay you out for that?
And
You know,
you've declared bankruptcy.
I didn't, they did.
Right.
So
that's what I mean, is that like, if I was you, I'd be like, you declared bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So like, what do you don't have anything.
Yeah.
Like you bankrupted your part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like you forfeit all of the assets, right?
I mean, technically on paper they didn't, but like it like you don't have anything. You declared bankruptcy.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like this should just be gone.
Yeah.
Or mine, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that was just like crazy having to go through all of that. Eventually, I did get them to sign the company over to me, and I was able to get, you know, full control. I sold off the 2 properties, and then I had one that was free and clear. And after Dante, like he just really like took me in, and he like felt for me in the situation that I was in. Like he was like, well, this girl's obviously got balls to go and buy property at her age.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, and I know that she needs help, so I'm gonna like take her in. I'm gonna teach her wholesale. I'm gonna teach her creative finance. I'm gonna Novation, sub twos, all that and stuff. So like at this point, I didn't know anything about PACE. I didn't know anything about sub two. Like for me, I learned creative finance through this guy Dante.
Yeah.
And so I credit a lot of my success to him. Like he let me do leads management for him. I went and cold called a bunch of his like dead leads lists that he had, and I actually brought them a deal.
Nice.
Yeah, just and I got like, cause I'd never been on the phones before. I'd never had to do like cold calling before in my life. Like I'd kind of done, I guess bartending is kind of sales in and of itself.
For sure.
But cold calling is different, you know?
Yeah.
You're getting people calling you assholes, like, why the fuck are you calling me, this and that, and you get beaten down, you know? But at some point you just get kind of like, you get it like immune to it, and it's just like, it doesn't matter, you know?
Right.
Like, I know if I were to have a face-to-face conversation with that person, like it would be different, right?
For sure.
Like it's like, don't take it personal. But yeah, so I started doing cold calls and learned how to do leads management, and just basically how to determine whether or not something was a lead, and learning how to use PropStream, learning how to comp properties, just learning all of it. And eventually, you know, it got to a point when I had sold off those 2 properties and I had one that was free and clear. I was like, seller finance, I might be able to do something with this, right? So like it was, I had that last property listed for $20,000, which is the same price that I bought it for, right? And on the MLS, and the realtor obviously wasn't doing shit to try to sell it, because he was like, I'm not gonna make any money off of this sale. So, you know, I had asked him when he posted it, I was like, dude, can you, you know, make sure that the description says that it's a fixer upper, like the siding is falling off, like the brush is overgrown, like the tile in the bathroom's cracked, like it's like there were a lot of issues that were in the property. Mind you, there was actually a tenant that was still living in there, and when he went and posted it on the MLS, like he just didn't do any of it. Like he used old photos. The property obviously didn't look like that anymore. And so like, even though we had generated like interest in the property, people would show up and be like, what the fuck is this shithole? You know? So anyway, so I took it off the MLS, and then I started playing around with terms, and I was like, okay, let me see if I can ask for, you know, a higher purchase price, because you can do that with seller finance, right? You would just have to be willing to accept payments over time. Let me ask for a low down payment. Let me ask for a low interest rate. Let me ask for, you know, let me see if $250 a month. And then I obviously looked up fair market rent, saw that it was $1,000. I was like, $250? Any investor would want this, because I knew it would need to be an investor that went and bought this property. So knowing all of that, and knowing what I knew about investing, like what would I want in this property if I were to look at this and like, you know, get it for me? What would make it a deal? Because I just wanted to get this thing fucking sold, and I wanted to make my $35,000 back. That was like all I cared about, was like, I am 100% all for my investor coming into this property and making money off of it, because that means that it'll get sold quickly.
When you sold the other 2 properties, did you break even on those or lose money on those?
Yeah, so I sold those 2 for $40,000.
Okay.
And so I actually ended up netting from that sale of those 2 properties back the extra money that I had to dump into the business, which is about like $10,000.
Right.
To bring, you know, to sell those properties and to pay off all of the credit cards, the debt, the fucking, you know, the capital calls and the whatever needed to be fixed and this and that. So from the sale of those 2 properties, netted back what I additionally had to put in. Then I just had the $35,000 that I had originally put into the company, right? That I was just like, I just want to make my 35 grand back. So again, I came up with the terms of a $38,000 purchase price. So that in and of itself would have already made me back my entire investment. And then I charged 3% interest over the span of 15 years. So I did the calculations, and with that, I'll be able to make like an extra $9,000 on top of the $38,000 or $36,000, I guess, interest, because he gave me $2,000 down.
Okay.
So, so I was just like, if he pays for that whole thing, like I made back all of my money plus some, you know what I mean? It's just like, and I also structured it so that he would get interest only payments for the first year at $90 a month, because I was like, this property needs help. Like, he wanted to give me $10,000 down, and I was like, no, hold on to your money, give me $2,000 down just so I have a little something, and then dump the rest of the $8,000 into the property because it needs it. If you're going to get this rent ready, if you want to get it ready for a tenant to move in, you're going to need to put money into it. So I said $2,000 down, 3% interest, and then amortized payments from years 2 through 15. And he liked the terms, and so I was like, okay, bet. So now the next step was had to get my tenant out, right? Yeah. And this was a whole freaking thing in and of itself. So essentially,
and this Oklahoma. This is
the Oklahoma, okay. Yeah. So this was that last property that I wanted to sell or finance. Yeah. And it was like the whole time.
Because I was thinking originally, I was like, oh man, trying to get a tenant out in California.
Oh, fuck no. Yeah. Good luck, dude. Good luck. Oklahoma is very landlord friendly. So if there's one thing, actually, we got that tenant out once we started the eviction process. She was probably out in like a month. But it would have been shorter. It was just right around the holidays, and the judge went on vacation and this and that. So delay. So I gave her a cash for keys offer, and I told her, I was like, hey, I'm about to sell the property. I need you to be out by November 15th. And this is of last year. Mm-hmm. And we signed everything. It looked good. Told her, I'd pay her $1,000 if she was out by that day. And she agreed to it. So, November 15th rolls around. I call her, and I'm just like, hey, mind you, she's like an 80-year-old woman. Okay. Oh. She lives by herself. Like her husband passed away a couple years ago. Her family doesn't live in the state. Like, she has no kids. She just has a nephew that I guess she sees every once in a while. Yeah. And oh gosh, man. So I call her on November 15th, and I'm just like, hey, how are we doing, Chelsea? Like, how's the move looking? And then she goes, oh, honey, like, my back hurts. I can't do this right now. And can I get a couple days extension? I was like, yeah, that's fine. No big deal. It's okay. Like, I'll call you back in a couple of days and see how you're doing. And then she's like, okay. I get a call from her a couple days later, and then she was like, oh, I just had the worst thing happen to me. I was like, what's going on? And then she goes, my nephew pushed me down to the ground and he tried to kill me. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, because you're dealing with tenants that are just like, low income. For sure. Like, I was expecting bullshit, right? I was just like, man, she's probably just saying this so that she could stay in the house because, tenants, like, they're kind of a pain in the butt. So, yeah, she told me that, like, he had a knife up against her neck and pushed her on the ground and this and that. And like, she was hurting. And I was like, okay, what is going on? And then I read the police report. Like, she wasn't lying. Like, legitimately, like, he was on some type of drug. Like, he was on PCP or something, hallucinating drugs. And he was saying that, like, the police were trying to come and kill him. So he's like, I'm going to kill us first before they get to us. And so, yeah, pushed her down on the ground, had a knife up against her neck. Police come, they break the door down, they break through the window, and my property, by the way. Yeah. And then they pull him off of her and take them both to the hospital. And it was just like, bro, I can't make this up. Oh, I can't make this up. And all the while, if she had left on the 15th, all of this could have been avoided, right? But because I gave her that extension, because I felt like, I'm like, I feel bad for you, sure, take a little extra time. But I was really trying to get this property sold. Like, at this point, I was kind of breaking even. Like, she was never late on rent payments. Like, and it was just like something would break. So like, I really was not making a whole lot of money, like, cash flow wise. So anyways, that just delayed the entire close. Like, I closed on that property, I think February 2nd of this year. And she was supposed to be out on November 15th. And also with the holidays around the area, like I would call her, and then every single time I would call her, like, week after week, she would just give me excuses. Like, the U-Haul wasn't working. I sent her $500 out of that $1,000 that I promised to pay her with the cash for keys offer. Like, I told her, I'll give you $500, and then I'll give you the rest of it once you leave my property. And she stretched it out month after month after month. And so I eventually just called my property management company. I was like, dude, like, just start the eviction process. Like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I need to get this property sold. I feel so bad too, because, she was older and like widowed and this and that. And she could literally like hardly see. And so yeah, I mean, they had her out in like a month, and then I was able to, get the property sold, and we closed on the creative terms and everything. And then that to me was just proof that creative finance works. Yeah. And that if you stick with it, you can make it work. Like, for sure. The fact that lawyers told me to walk away from it, and then I somehow figured out a way to make the deal work, like knowing and using the tools that I had learned just over that year of, working with my mentor, Dante, and like, um, realizing that like it was just a proof of concept that like I like that I can believe in myself, that I can do hard things, that if you just stick to it, like you can come out of a situation okay, you know, like you always hear people talk about that. You just got to stay consistent, just stay with it. And then but then it was like, wow, I actually closed on that deal. I made my money back.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, huge win. And now it's like when I go to these things, it's allowed me to sorry, my phone's no, I think yeah, it's somebody's calling. Yeah, just proof of concept that if you just like stay consistent, like things will be okay. And then also just like surrounding yourself with good, genuine people that can actually help you, you know, through situations.
Yeah, for sure.
And like and bringing Dante, you know, that lead off of that cold call list, like they closed the deal, they made money off of it, him and his closer, and then they just like sent me a referral fee too. But it was just like, for me, it's like if somebody helps me, like I'm gonna do everything and anything I can to like help them back, because it's just like that's what I want, you know. Is I feel like at this point I've been given so much by the community, and I've been showed nothing but kindness and support by so many different people. I'm like, I want to be able to do that for somebody else. I want to pass it forward, you know, because I was lost. I still, you know, get imposter syndrome every time I walk into a room, you know, and being so young, being female too, it makes it a little bit harder, but also like I kind of look at it as an unfair advantage. You know, I'm kind of like the only young female in most of the rooms that I walk into with like any sort of real estate event. And so utilizing that as a strength instead of a weakness.
And it really is a strength, because like with me, when you told me your story, I'm like, holy shit, like who is this person? You know what I mean? How old are you? What did you do? Well, you think how? Because like my biggest complaint about this generation is that they're just like, oh, they're delicate, and like, oh, I have to work too much. They scheduled me for 6 hours today. Yeah, and I'm just like, what? So like hearing somebody who's in that age group whose mindset is totally different, and you've gone through so much experience at your age already that like most people never even have to do, because they're just like going to work and they're doing their little work, and they're living their life in the easiest like way possible with the least amount of you know problems, or the least amount of friction, you know. And you stepped into it, you know, at how old were you when you first got the properties?
22.
Yeah, so 22 years old, you're stepping into something you really, it looks exciting, it looks neat, you've read a book about it, but that's all you know. And then learning through that, I mean, you didn't even have to pay any money, because you're really going to come out of it having made money.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if I had to ask you this, would you lose 10 grand, or would you pay that 35 grand to learn everything you've learned so far?
100%. Yeah. I mean, I love investing. It's like the number one investment that anybody should make, no matter what age you are, is in yourself first. You know, build your experience, build your confidence, build your network first, because those are like the foundational things that you need to have to kind of move forward with business and entrepreneurship. I think is just having a really strong like believing in yourself and having that knowledge, but you get that mostly through experience, right? Just by doing. Action taking is really what's going to get you places, because so many people get stuck in that analysis paralysis mode where it's like, you know, you watch videos and you read books and you listen to podcasts, and it's like, okay, I know all of this, but it's like, how are you going to actually go and apply it? Because when you actually go to buy your first property, it's like,
it's scary.
It's scary, yeah, because you are taking on a very large responsibility here. Like mortgage payments are no joke. If you can't keep up with that, like it could mess you up, you know. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so I think also going into it with a partnership kind of helps to accelerate that process a little bit. I would say, yeah, and I love partnerships. Like I've met people that say that, you know, fuck partnerships, this and that, but for me, it's like even though I've been in a bad partnership, like I love the fact that I can get accountability partners in a partnership. I love the different perspectives that being in a partnership offers, because it's like I think a certain way, but I would love to look at it from your perspective. How do you see this situation? What's the best plan of action from here? Because I know that I still have a lot to learn, and I want to keep my mind open to different perspectives and different ideas on how to solve certain issues, or like having a visionary where they're just like, oh my gosh, we could do this, and that. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think of that. Okay, so now how do we go about doing that? Like there's just finding partnerships and people who have, you know, the experience that you don't, or they have the knowledge that you don't, or have like a skill set that you don't, it's like you could really leverage the power of that in a partnership.
Sure.
So I love partnerships.
And
Even
it's really the best way to get into real estate when you have no experience.
100%. Yeah.
Bring what you can to the table. I'll do the work. I'll make the phone calls. I'll do X, Y, and Z. Or if I've got 10 grand, or I've got 5 grand, or I've got 20 grand, or whatever, or I don't have anything, but you say it, I'll do it. If I can just learn, you know, and, you know, put yourself in the opportunity or in the position where you're willing to give to somebody who is in a better position than you.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants their brain picked. That's what everybody always says. Oh, can I pick your brain? Like, no, you can't, you know. I'm in the position where I don't know enough yet to where I feel that way. So I'm like, yeah, you ask me whatever you want. You can pick my brain all day. You know what I mean? And if I don't know the answer, I'll tell you where you can get it, you know, but I'll tell you anything I know.
Yeah.
But I also don't have a multi-million-dollar business with like 40 million things all going on at the same time where my time is worth that much right now, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But like, I think with partnerships, I think what people need to like, or what my advice would be, because I've had a bad partnership too, and I'm not anti-partnerships, is like JV agreements. Get into a property. If you're buying a property with somebody that you don't know, that has a good idea, or you met and it seems like this would be a good person to partner with. Get into a JV agreement. Do a property. Do 2 or 3 properties with the JV agreement, because you can get out.
Yeah.
You know, it's
clean cut.
Right. It's property specific or business specific or whatever it is. It's specific to that moment or that situation.
Yeah.
So if it goes bad, then you can be like, all right, yeah, we're not going to do this again.
Yeah.
And then once you develop, or if you develop that relationship, or you've worked on some things with that person, then if you want to, you build a LLC and partnership and all of that.
Yeah. Because it really does make or break your career, kind of, if you get yourself into a bad partnership, because it is a long-term agreement, and you really don't know what happens to people when they're stressed financially, or they're put in a hard position. Like, are they going to make the right decision when shit gets hard?
Right.
You know, because I know, like, because I've been on the shorter end of the stick, I'm like, I know I will never, like, no matter what it is, like, I'm always going to do the right thing. Like, even in, like, little things in my job, like, if I fuck up on something, if I put somebody's order in wrong, like, and the restaurant doesn't want to comp it, like, I will pay for that because that's my mistake. Right. And I will do that, you know, till the day I die. That's just how I do business, because that's how I carry myself. Those are the standards that I hold myself to. Like, I don't ever want to fuck anybody over, because I know what it's like, you know, and I never want to do that to somebody else. So for me, picking these partners is so important, because, like, I think if there's one thing I'm really good at, it's you know, building relationships and making friends. Like, for me, it's not building relationships. It is like, I'm just making friends, you know, and doing cool shit with cool people and making money together. Like, that's how I see it. It's like, it's so fun. But it's like, I'm very picky with the people that I partner with or that I choose to do business with. Like, you have to be, because, like, you have to make sure your personalities click. You have to make sure that, you know, you can trust them with your life. Like, do you trust this person? Like, if I had a kid, like, I would trust this person with my kid to take care of, like, if I can't be there, you know what I mean? It's like, you have to have, like, you really are getting into bed with this person. It's like, you never know. But I love partnerships, and I love the partners that I have now. Like, we all have, you know, incredible goals, and we're driven to, like, so the fact that, you know, my properties are residential, like, that's my experience. But now I'm able to look at bigger projects. Like, we're looking at buying commercial assets. We're looking at mobile home parks, RV parks, business acquisitions. Like, at 25, I'm like, I never imagined myself to even be looking at purchasing these assets, because I'm like, there's no way like, you want to partner with me? Like, what value do you see in me? But it's like, but I'm just grateful.
Well, that goes back to your secret weapon too. Your age, and you're a female, and like, and that's what I tell people about, like, Friday nights. I was like, come every Friday night. Yeah. Come every Friday night, unless you can't, or, you know, whatever. But come every Friday night, because if you come once and 6 months later you come again, you're not really getting out of the meeting what the meeting's there for. You know, because you might meet somebody, and it might take you 3 months to build a relationship with somebody you see every week. And then that person might be the person that 10x's your life. You know, and
you never know who you're gonna meet.
Right, for sure. And a lot of times people, if they see you come all the time on a regular basis, maybe they can't get to you because like I know when I go on Friday nights, I talk to so many people
Yeah.
that like I feel bad because there's like 4 other people I want to say hello to or, or talk to before I get out. And sometimes I won't talk to somebody for 2 or 3 weeks that I've been trying to talk to for 2 or 3 weeks, you know?
Yeah.
But still like with you being young, but you're still coming. You come every week.
Yeah.
People see you there every week, and then even if they haven't talked to you yet, they might have talked to somebody else who's talked to you and been like, "Oh, Grace is awesome, man. She's got a cool story. You should talk to her." It may take a little bit more time for them to, a couple more weeks for them to get around to talking to you because it's so, you know, there's so much going on there.
Yeah.
But like, you build credibility by just showing up every week. Yeah. Even if you haven't done anything yet. And that's what I tell people. You don't have to have done anything, but show up every week. Because people will see that you're committed to at least showing up every week and you're sitting there learning.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there asking questions and you talk to people and you ask people questions because people want to help other people who they see putting out some kind of effort. Yes. And so with you, you're that person. In addition to you've also been through some stuff and you came out of it on the other end, but doing it yourself, you know what I mean? Or taking control of it yourself and like then making it a point to meet the right people and then being able to take advice from somebody, like all of those things are all positive things. Yeah. So, and especially at your age, like the fact that you're making those decisions at the age you are is more of a superpower than an older guy who like has some life experience, but like hasn't really done those things. Like the fact that you're younger making those decisions is way more of a superpower than an older person.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you realize that, but like that's such a huge blessing that like you are that kind of person. Like I can only imagine, and I hope I don't die before then, but I can only imagine that like what your life's going to be like at 45. Like you'll be a monster at 45.
God,
I'm sure.
I'm so excited for it. Yeah. And it's like, it's hard because I feel like, you know, just within this last 6 months of moving to Arizona, I've done like so much growing in the past 6 months that I had in the past like 5 years. Well, I mean, you know, growing self-growth and building the confidence, working in the industry, like those are all good things, but it's like, okay, now I'm like ready for what's next. I'm ready to take on my next challenge. And it's been this whole like personal journey of like growth and meeting people. I think has just been like my favorite part of the whole thing because I the last thing I want to go into a situation like this is just with a closed mind. Like I think my energy, my charisma, like there's just not a whole lot of people out there like that with personalities like that. So I utilize that to my advantage when I talk to people. It's like fun. It's interesting. Like somebody will walk up to me and they'll just be like, "What's up? What do you do?" And then I'll tell them my story, and it's like by the end of it, they're looking at me like, I was like,
exactly.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's me, you know? And then from there, it's like we just become friends, and then we figure out how to do deals together, how to work together, and how we can collaborate, even if it's not now, then maybe, you know, 5-10 years down the line, like I'll be like, oh, I remember this person told me about that. Like, yeah, it's just, it's the funnest thing ever to me. And like, people always ask me, like, especially people at work, they're just like, what do you do? And I'm like, I work, but that's my fun, you know? Like to me, a good conversation with somebody, going out and grabbing coffee with like, you know, one of the real estate people, like that to me is just like, I get so much fulfillment out of that. And, you know, whether or not that goes anywhere, like I just had a great conversation. I learned something new. I made a new friend. Like that to me is invaluable. Like it's so much more fun doing that than going out and spending time at a bar or whatever. Yeah. Which I've actually been trying to do more often. So I'm trying to raise capital for, a business that we're looking to acquire right now. It's a motorcycle sales and service shop. Okay. I don't know if I told you about this. I did. Yeah. So knowing
how's that going? You told me about it a couple of weeks ago or maybe a month ago. I think when I first met you is when you told me about it.
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. So, I mean, we've spoken to the seller. We know that we have a good deal. The only thing is just, I'm trying to like immerse myself into the writing culture a little bit more. So I like literally yesterday I went to Cave Creek and I was just like scoping out the area because I know it's a big like writing community up there. So I kind of went to a couple of different bars. Like I sat down and just kind of like looked at the area. It was really like uncomfortable for me because one, going out, you know, by myself to an area that I'm not familiar with, where I don't know anybody, it's nerve wracking, you know. And then also being, you know, young and female, that does, you know, it's like there's things that come with that too. But just like I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go sit out there for a little bit. Like maybe I'll have a conversation with somebody, maybe I'll meet somebody, but like I'm just trying to slowly start to get in there. But it's like doing hard shit like that, putting yourself in uncomfortable positions so that you can, grow yourself. Like,
For sure.
that's something that I feel like I've had to do so much. And it's always paid off in the end, but as far as like, yeah, so I just basically went and scoped out the area. Didn't really meet anybody, but I did kind of familiarize myself with like, okay, saw a lot of like nice cars at this bar.
Yeah.
And then, this other bar, you can only go if you have a bike, basically. Like, there's only motorcycle parking. So I was like, okay, maybe that's somewhere that I need to go, just
For
kind
sure.
of looking at the area. And then I sat at this one bar that just, there's live music, and made eye contact with a couple of people. I didn't actually talk to anybody because I was like so nervous, but I was like, okay, I'll be back. I'll be back. Maybe I'll see another person the same time, so it's just building that consistency and starting to show my face at these things. Like, I just missed out on bike week. Like, I should have gone there, but I didn't. But as far as that deal, like, we've spoke to lenders on that deal. They looked at the numbers, they looked at the P&Ls, like they just started, they like it. They know it's a good deal. So now it's like, we need that capital partner. That's like the missing piece to our equation right now. So it's just that capital partner. And we spoke to a couple different, capital raisers, and I think like we know it's a deal. It's just we don't want to push it. Like, we know that the person that's going to go and do this business with us is going to need to be like a very specific type of person that believes in bikes, that loves bikes, and understands, the bike business, and is comfortable in investing and sees the same vision that we do in this business. Because, seller's looking to retire. He's had this thing for like 30 years, and he's just looking to pass his legacy on to somebody else. Like, he doesn't want to sell to a corporation. Like, he wants to sell to somebody that's going to take care of his business, take care of his employees, because what he's built there is truly like very valuable. Like, people are very loyal to him and his business. And that's good. But also, there's so many rooms and avenues for growth in the business because he has zero online presence. There's no digital commerce. Like, he doesn't sell anything online. Like, it's very close to ASU area, so he can start selling things like e-bikes and scooters, and start marketing towards the younger crowd, because a lot of the people that he has in his business, right, like his clients are mostly older people, and he works on trikes. Trikes are like the three-wheeled bikes, and so like he's already got all of that. But like, imagine who we could expand that business out to. And for me, that's my way out of my job.
And even an online presence will get people in who have trikes, because they'll be online and they're probably on Instagram or Facebook, and they have a trike and they're part of a trike club or something like that. And when they get in there, if he's in that or has an online presence, he'll start popping up in their feeds because of the algorithms. And then you might get new clients that way that have trikes or that are older. You'll still expand on your clientele from that too.
And nowadays with the digital media, man, like if you market the correct way, man, you can just boost sales like crazy. And he hasn't even tapped into that market yet. So it's just
he's doing great.
And he's already doing great on his own. So we just know it's a massive opportunity, and we're just waiting to like come across the right person that sees the same vision that we do. And in the meantime, we're also looking at we're negotiating a mobile home park in North Carolina. We're negotiating an RV park in Texas. Like, we've submitted LOIs at multiple RV parks, and it's like you have to keep looking at all these deals, because if you just get too caught up on one deal, like, and if that deal falls through, you have nothing, right? So you got to work like 10 different deals. Like, we're on, like, my partners and I are always looking at new deals. Like, I've got multiple partnerships. So I have one that lives in North Carolina, then I have one that's like more local here in Phoenix, and we're actually about to get a flip under contract in Sun City. So I'm going to do my first flip. So excited about that. Never done one of those before, but my partner Donald has, like, he's done over 40 flips before, and so and I've looked at his work, and he's very detail oriented. Very, like, he was a project manager actually at Amex for a long time, and so he plans everything A to Z, like every single detail. Like, he puts together these incredible pitch decks and the timelines, and like, I could never do that,
right?
And so, like, it will be good for me to get in on that and to start building content off of that. Like, I plan on filming the entire thing. Like, I'm going to be out there. Like, I'm going to be getting down and dirty on my hands and knees. I'm going to be, I've never like touched anything a house before. Like, you've had a construction background. For me, I've never even fucking knocked a wall down before ever. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Demo's always the funnest part.
Yeah, I'm so excited to just start. Maybe this probably took out your anger a lot on just fucking. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but I want to like document it because it's a huge learning experience for me, and I want to just tell people, this is what I'm doing. Like you're
Yeah.
learning with me, like Donald's going to teach me a bunch of things, and I'm really really excited for that. So yeah, lots of different projects happening on the side, but my goal this year is to get out of my W-2. Like I don't want to, like I love the industry, and maybe I'll bartend still maybe once or twice a week, like just for fun and to get that social interaction with people my age, right? Because a lot of my friends are like in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and like
Yeah.
I love them because they have so much knowledge and wisdom to give to me, and they're just so gracious, and they're like so cool because they've been through so many things in life, and
Yeah.
I just think those relationships are invaluable to me. But I do still enjoy like hanging out with 20-year-olds and 25-year-olds and just chopping it up and being like I get a whole variety of different people that I talk to, right? So it's like it's super fun. And I love making drinks. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, but my goal this year is to just go in on like I'm ready for that next step. And for me, my way out of my W-2 is acquiring a business, becoming an operator of that business, because knowing that like I love entrepreneurship and business ownership, like I want to operate a company, I want to start creating SOPs, I want to like learn how to grow and scale a business and market and be a business owner, because that teaches you so many different things that like I know that I have a lot to learn. One of them, leadership, is going to be a big one for me because I've always been a team player, I've always been a follower, but I've never been a leader before.
Okay.
And so I know being a leader like is like when you're in a position of power, like I don't want to be like my managers where they have that power trip and they're like treating their employees like shit just because they're salty because they don't make as much money as the servers and bartenders do, right? So they, because of that, they you know what I mean, like so it's kind of fosters this like hostile environment. But like I don't want to be that. I want my employees to feel like they can be comfortable with telling me that things that make them upset. Like I'm not your friend, but I want you to feel comfortable to tell me things that make you uncomfortable, that you are unhappy with. Like how do we grow together? Like, but that's just like it's hard because when shit starts to hit the fan, if business isn't doing well, like you get stressed out, and when emotions start to come into the picture, and it's like when your finances are on the line, like I know how I can get sometimes. Like I know that I can become a little snappy, or like I can say something that might rub somebody the wrong way. Like I see those qualities in myself, and I'm just like I can't do that as a leader, because you being in that position of power, like if you say one thing that's wrong, your employees are going to think a certain way or feel a certain way about you. And it's like I can't even imagine all the things that would come with being a leader. So I'm excited to like learn all of that, and I see my way out of that W-2 as being an operator of either a commercial asset, like, on those RV parks or mobile home parks or whatever commercial asset it is that we're looking. Because we're also doing like with my local partner here in Phoenix, like we've looked at multifamilies. We actually just walked a commercial building in Mesa. We really like Mesa because it's in an opportunity zone, and it's also like I guess the city is kind of pushing for Mesa to become the next Scottsdale. The location, yeah, it's the location of Mesa is like centralized to everything. You got Scottsdale, you got Phoenix, you got Gilbert and Chandler, but like Mesa's like right in the middle of it, and it's like you get on the 101, you get on the 60, you can get anywhere in like 20-25 minutes, right? That's why I live in that area, because I wanted to be centralized. So we just really like Mesa as like as an investment spot. So we're looking at like commercial properties to kind of pick up over there and see if like we're underwriting and seeing if the numbers work and seeing if they're open to creative finance to acquire. So yeah, lots of different stuff, but I'm just excited for all of it. This is like all I've been doing, like aside from bartending. So I mean, and I love it. It's the coolest thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's like I said, I hope I'm around to see what your life's like when you're 45.
You will be.
I'm sure I will be too.
Yeah.
As long as I change my food habit a little bit.
Dude, no, you look fine. You look fine. Just the occasional whiskey and eat healthy and stay healthy. Like, yeah, like I feel like that's the key to life. It's just be happy. Nothing's that serious. Like, make the most out of your life. Surround yourself with good people, good food, and take care of yourself. And like that, it's that simple.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
For sure.
Yeah, and it's like it's so easy to get caught up nowadays, and you'll see stuff on social media where it's like the people who are flexing the Lamborghinis and all that, and then you get the FOMO, and then then you get the soft people who are just like, looking, everything they're seeing online kind of becomes their personality. And it's like, I just watched this documentary. Oh my gosh, what was it called? I can't remember the name of it, but it was just talking about how like social media really like messes like the effects that social media has had since it started to become a really big thing with like TikTok and Instagram and stuff. Like it was like basically ex-employees from like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
The
whatever.
Social Dilemma.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
and it was.
I started it and I haven't finished it yet, but I need to, just because I had to go somewhere and do something. But I just got like 15 minutes into it, but I want to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, it's really interesting to kind of like put social media in perspective. Like a lot of things that they were saying on it was like things that I was already familiar with. But if you're somebody who isn't aware of those things, like that is a good documentary to watch, because it just like don't get sucked into it, because it's so easy to get sucked into it. And like what you see on your phone is just not real life.
Right.
And it's just fostering this, like, because people are sheep, if like they like to have something to follow, something to idolize. And it's hard, like they don't think for themselves, but that's kind of what society wants you to do, right? They want you to follow. Like there's a reason why they don't talk about business and entrepreneurship and financial planning and stuff in school, because they don't want you to know about those things. They want you to be an employee and a slave for the rest of your life. Like it's like you're in the rat race, or you figure out a way how to get out of it. And so once I found out about that, I was like, holy shit, like more people should know about this.
And I think the thing is too, like we don't teach people now either to live in a space where you're uncomfortable and how to deal with that uncomfortable situation and come through the other end. Like we teach people, especially the younger generation now, they're taught like, I need to find my peace. I need to protect my peace. And, I got to stop the generational trauma of my parents. And like, this is my problem and it's not my fault. It's somebody else's fault made me this way. And I shouldn't have to change. The rest of the world needs to change to accommodate me, which I'm like, that is not the real world. You know what I mean? Like you might be this kind of person because of things that happened to you that might not have been your fault. I won't argue that too much. But staying here and making the choice to stay here in your peace and making the rest of the world change for you is not how it works. You learn that maybe you are this certain way because of things that may have happened to you or the way you were raised or whatever. And then you learn how to get over that and deal with that and manage that and grow and become a better person. Like the growth of the younger generation is almost non-existent. The growth in becoming somebody new and better and learning and growing is almost non-existent.
I'm scared. Yeah, I'm scared for what the future is going to look like with all these kids. Just it's I don't even know what to say about that. It's all true. Like these kids are just like it starts when they're young too, which is the craziest part, because like the parents who just can't deal with like kids being present, like they just give them a fucking screen, like an iPad or like a phone or whatever, and they're just sitting there on their phones like all day. And I'm like, you're feeding them brain rot.
Yes.
And there's no like
the screen has become everybody's babysitter. Like full-time babysitter.
And that's what everything is just now, an attention grab. That's literally what social media is designed for, is so that your attention, you're just staring at that screen nonstop. Go out and touch some grass.
when like I don't know if you've looked into like the school system much at all, but like Rockefeller kind of helped build the school system. And he was, his age is, Jeff Bezos. So he owned the industrial industry, oil, steel, all that. He owned, ran the country basically with the industry. And he helped create the school system, the modern school system, because what he was doing is he was trying to create worker bees for the industrial industry. So it was all about do what you're told, don't ask questions, follow instructions, sit down, shut up. When the bell rings, you get to move. Like it was all built around an industry that no longer exists.
Yeah.
And then like even through the information age, when the internet came out, and that was a whole nother like social, like business society shift. We moved from the industrial revolution into the information age, and school never changed for that. And now the information age has morphed into something totally different, and there is no such thing as, you know, go to work at this industry, this manufacturer, work there for 30 years, retire, get a pension. Like that doesn't exist at all. But that's still the
still what
same
they're
model that
teaching.
we're teaching kids.
Yeah.
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 And like it's we don't teach them financial education. We don't teach them entrepreneurship. We don't teach them, you know, business. You can go to school and get a business degree, but like that's even the business degree doesn't teach you financial education.
Yeah.
It teaches you how to be a manager. And like there's a couple schools, one's in Texas and one's somewhere else, but we went to an AI conference. My girlfriend and I did about, I guess it was 3 weeks ago, maybe, or a month ago. I guess it was about a month ago now. But I was talking to a guy at one of the lunches, and he was telling us, and I'd heard it. Where did I hear it? Oh, I read it in an AI magazine I got, is where I heard it first. And then he was talking about, because he went to the school to check it out. But it's a school, and instead of having 8 hours of school where you're learning math, science, English, and history or whatever else, he's like, you don't need 8 hours to learn that. But it's also a babysitter. It's also a daycare. And because parents can't be home all the time and they got jobs they got to go to. But they take like 4 hours in the morning, and each student has an AI teach them math, science, English, and history. Okay. Which some people would be like, oh, that's fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
But think about it from the perspective of you have one teacher in a classroom with 30 kids teaching them, let's just say math, teaching all of those 30 kids exactly the same way. But all of those 30 kids don't learn the same way. And they're all at different understandings of math. Some people love math. They get it right away. Other people are like, what? What did you just say? I don't get it. And then they tune out, they turn off. But there's nothing to help that kid learn differently, because they're all being taught by the same teacher who was taught to teach a certain way, like all the other teachers were taught to teach. And so, like, I'm a good example of math. I'm just like, whatever. Like, I don't care about algebra, you know, calculus. Just give me a calculator. I can figure anything out with a calculator. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you need to do it for?
And so like, but like one of my brothers, he was math guy all day long. He could, I mean, he just understood it. The numbers made sense to him. He can do stuff in his fucking head. You know what I mean? And what the AI does in that same example is you'll still have a teacher in the class, but with all those 30 kids have their own pad or their own computer being taught by an AI who in real time is evaluating how they're learning and how they're understanding what they're being taught.
That's so interesting.
And so if one kid is catching it, the AI will automatically make it harder and make it more challenging for that student to boost his learning.
Yeah.
And then if another kid is like, I don't understand what's going on, I don't get it, the AI will adjust and it will slow down how it's teaching. And then if you're not getting it from this, I'm teaching you this certain way with this example, and if you're not getting it, I'll change and teach you a different way with a different example. And if you're not getting that, then I'll change with it. Oh, you got it now. This helped you. Now I'll start pushing you to learn more. And so
crazy.
It's customized via the AI understanding its interaction with you and how you're learning to teach you in a way that's the best way to teach you. So that I'm like, wow, that's a fucking great idea.
Yeah.
And then you're able to spend less time in schoolwork because you're being taught specifically in the way that you know.
Yeah.
So they spend 4 hours in the morning on schoolwork. And then the last half of the day, they learn business, they learn entrepreneurship, they learn learn financial education, and they're being taught by people in the community who actually do it for a living.
Bro.
Like, I was like, what the fuck? That's how school should be fucking everywhere.
100%.
Yeah. But it also costs $40,000 a year to send your school there. But which is, you go to the government and tell the government to do that.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it. You know what I mean? It's there. And especially, and you also have like teacher lobbies that are like, You know, they're so embedded into the government that they don't want things to change. They might look at it like a threat. AI is going to take my job, things like that.
Yeah.
And so there's so many things working against it that like the only way to start it is through a business that's for profit. It is going to cost a shitload of money to begin with, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that business model is one, or that education model is 100% how it should be done.
Yeah.
You're also taking advantage of AI in a way that you have to. AI is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
No matter how scared people are of it, no matter how worried you might be that it's going to turn into the Terminator or that it's going to take your job or whatever, it's not going anywhere. We can be upset about it all we want, but it's not going to go anywhere.
Exactly. So
you have to embrace it in a way that you learn to take advantage of it or work with it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to be run over by it. And kids, you don't want to teach kids how to use AI because it's not going anywhere. And that's it. Like, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and this guy said, it's the first time in human history that parents cannot prepare their kids for the future. We can teach them to be good kids. We can give them good morals and good character. But we can't teach them shit about what future is going to look like. Used to be like, oh, get a good job, son. Go to school, get a good job, and become a doctor. That's a good, you know, job to have. You can make good money as a doctor. 10 years from now, we might not have people doing surgery anymore. We might have a robot that's AI doing surgery. So we don't know what the future looks like. The parents are learning with the children, you know? And so, like, you have to figure out how to marry what's not going away with some of the traditions that should be embraced, like get off the computer, get in front of people, have a conversation with the person, go out in nature. You know, like when I was younger, we, you know, Generation X is, you know, they're the latchkey kids. So you know what a latchkey kid is? So latchkey kid is where they call them latchkey kids because parents would put a key on a necklace and give them the necklace and send them to school. And the kid would go home and use his latchkey and open the door and go into the house because parents weren't home. So you had kids that are 10, 12, you know, years old that are home by themselves after they get out of school for 4 or 5 hours. And they had to learn how to feed themselves and make their own decisions and take care of themselves. So Generation X was built into like a sturdier generation because we were all latchkey kids, and not all of us were. I wasn't a latchkey kid, but like in general, that was the mindset of that generation. And like, go outside and play, son. You go outside, you ride your bike, you're gone for 10 or 12 hours. Your parents have no idea where you are. You can't just pick up your cell phone and call your parents to come pick you up, or, you know, you're hungry, mom, bring me food, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? You just figured it out, and you're riding your bike around town. Like I was in town, riding my bike in town. My mom didn't know where I was. You know, and it was just like, now that would probably be fucking scary. You know what I mean? But there's some kind of a middle between that super independent, like kind of do your own thing, and having computers and iPads and you know, smartphones and that internet screen in front of your face all the time. There's got to be a marry of that somehow, because that's not going away. As detrimental as we all know it is on some level, we haven't learned enough about how detrimental it is and how to approach it, because 10, 15 years from now, or 20 years from now, or another generation from now, all the kids that got fucked up from screens now will be not letting their kids be on screens as much, because they'll understand how much it's fucked them up. You know, and they'll probably in the future, society will shift in a way where we realize, okay, I can't give my 3-year-old a screen. But right now we don't know any better, or we being the general population doesn't know any better, and it's easy. And they haven't learned what some of us have kind of realized or heard or understand, that it's not a good thing. But I wish there was a way to marry it in a way, because I feel like all the like the 20 somethings right now, or even the teens right now, are just so super delicate, and they don't have the social experiences to talk to somebody in person. Like I know people that have kids that they don't want to get a driver's license.
They don't want to get driver's license.
Yeah. Like they've got teenagers and they're like, eh.
Like when I was
a teenager, I'm like, dude, I want a driver's license so bad. And is there a way I can get a car? Like I want that independence. Now they're just like, meh, take Uber. I'll take Uber. Like it's a different situation now, where like a lot of kids, not all kids, but a lot of kids, they just don't even want to drive. And like, I don't understand. Oh, and they'll be. I've seen people, and I'm just like looking at them, and be like, you guys need to fucking talk to each other. But they'll be like high school kids, like sitting, like in Subway, and they're all at the same table, and they're all on their phones. And I'm sure they're talking to each other
through the phone.
Through the phone, while they're also talking to other people that aren't there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like oh, you haven't. None of you have said anything to each other for like 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah. And now take that kid out of that situation, and he goes with his parents to a party where there's mostly adults. Kid's gonna be freaked the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like when I was a kid, we would go to parties with my parents, like or events or something where there were adults. I talked to fucking everybody because I was a talker, and I wasn't afraid of talking to adults or being around adults or talking to people. And we're breeding kids that are scared to talk to human beings, which is bad. Like, use this amazing tool that technology has given us.
Yes. Yeah.
But also use your human abilities also. And you got to learn to marry that. And I have no idea how that's going to happen. I think we're going to have a whole generation of fucked up kids that turn into parents. They turn into parents that realize they can't fuck up their kids.
Dude, I feel like it's a cycle. It goes strict parents, or kids that, don't know what they're doing or kids that have to figure it out. They grow into parents that are like, well, I had shitty parents, so I'm going to try to be good parents to my kids. Then they give their kids everything, and then the kids grow up spoiled, and they don't know what the fuck to do with their lives. And then the kids grow up, fucked up, and then they're just like, well, I want to be like, it's just like a cycle that keeps going back and forth. But like, I don't know. And now bringing AI into the picture, which, this is just the beginning of what AI could be. Like, society is going to go through a massive change within the next, like, maybe even 5 years. Like, with all the new businesses that are coming out utilizing AI, like everything that does well now is just convenience for human, for us, right? It's just every AI tool is developed because it makes somebody's life easier in some way.
Right.
And so now it's like, now that we literally have AI generating code to like build things like that, it's like
I'm building an app.
Yeah. Like,
I didn't go to coding. I didn't go to school for coding. I remember back in the day, I was like I would look at like somebody who was like building a website for me. My cousin used to build websites, and so she would show me, and then she'd click a button and it would show all the code behind it. And I'm like,
yeah, get that away from me.
She would just type stuff in there with like, brackets and numbers and stuff, and then a word, and it would turn it into some, a picture on the screen. And I'm like, fuck that. But now I'm doing it.
Now you're doing it.
And I have no idea how.
So quickly too.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm scared for it. But I mean, the only thing I know that I can prepare myself for the AI age is just ownership. That's why I want to own, because
absolutely,
if there's one thing AI can't do, it's obviously, work with your hands, and it's also owning. Like,
but I think working with your hands is going to go as soon as robotics catches up to the point that it's as smooth and functional as we are. It can, it's not doing this and like picking up the right thing, because it can understand like which one's the apple and which one's the orange and which one's the piece of trash.
Yeah.
But it's still moving like this, and picking it up and putting it where it needs to go.
Exactly.
Once it gets to the point that it moves like we do, which it will, and then you combine that with AI, then as a construction company, instead of hiring 5 different trades to build this house for me, I got to hire a framer, I got to hire a sheetrocker, I got to hire a concrete guy, I got to hire a roofer. I'm gonna get 5 robots, and the 5 robots are gonna do it from concrete to roof,
and do it better and faster, more efficient.
Yep. They're gonna work all night.
Yeah, they don't need to take breaks. Yeah,
So I think that'll be the last thing to go, because robotics hasn't caught up with it. So I think trades are okay for a while.
Yeah,
but they're definitely gonna go away eventually. Of one person on a job site making sure the robots don't break.
Yeah,
and that'll be it.
Management.
But ownership. All that to go back to ownership. I mean, they can't take your house, unless like the government changes somehow. But like, like the ownership, like owning the long-term assets that function and are bringing in money passively. That's the safety.
Yeah.
To AI taking everything and doing it on its own.
Yeah, because that's literally what AI is developed for, is to take the job of somebody.
Right.
So, yeah.
So if I don't need a job because I've got property making money for me,
then you're fine.
Good.
Yeah, you're fine. Just own something. Yeah.
Right.
So that's I really want to just start. Like, that's kind of what I want my Instagram to be about, is just like to inspire change, to inspire entrepreneurship and business ownership and just owning assets, because especially in the younger generation, like for me, like they don't push any of that kind of thing. So like I wish I had known about it even earlier, you know, but I know I am getting an early start, and I'm very grateful for that, because it's like compounding interest, it's like compounding experience, right? Like I meet so many people that are, you know, in their 40s and their 50s, and I'm like, what would you do differently if you were my age? And they were all just, they also said they wish they started early, or wish they knew about investing earlier or something earlier. And now that literally like knowledge is right at your fucking fingertips. Like the reason why I even got into real estate in the first place was because I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw one dude talk about real estate, and I was like, oh, maybe I should look into this. Read a book, and I was like, fuck, I need to do this. You know what I mean? And it's like, so there's a lot of brain rot on there, but I also want to, you know, bring up the fact that social media can really be used to your benefit in the right way. Follow the right accounts, follow educational accounts, people who actually are putting out content that will benefit you, that are teaching you something, you know, whether it's in investing in finances or whatever it is. Like, educate yourself, you know, instead of just watching shit. Like, of course I'll find myself, you know, down a rabbit hole and like 100 scrolls later, but it's like decompressing, but also setting aside time to just keep feeding yourself good information that's going to help better you, because it's like, it's either you make it, or like you get sucked into it, or you figure out you're the one that's pumping out the content, right? Or like you're teaching something, like
and that's the thing about social media. Like, I'm not anti-social media, I'm anti getting lost in social media on
and it's
junk.
so easy to do, you know? That it's so easy, because that's literally why people put out content, is to keep your attention. That's how they make money.
They want to keep your attention. They want to piss you off. They want to like.
They want to make you feel something.
Yeah, they want to make you feel some kind of an emotion that keeps you there.
Yeah.
And keeps you looking, as opposed to like I've and my problem is like my algorithm is so fucked up now that it shows me shit that I'm like, that I find myself looking at. I'm like, why the fuck am I watching this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but I wish I could go back and like clean it.
I think there's a way that you
and
can
like start all over, and then just start following the stuff that's important to me now. Only follow business, only follow real estate, only follow entrepreneurs, only follow or like cool things, like, you know, cool people doing like amazing shit, like you know what I mean, like parkour or something like that. Or it's like, oh, that motherfucker's cool. You know? And then like stuff like that, but not you know, like I don't even want to look at politics anymore. Like no politics. No, just like stupid junk, you know what I mean? Like just random, like nothing, you know? No, somebody crying about they have to work 6 hours a week, you know, or whatever, 6 hours a day or whatever. But all the stuff that like, I want to avoid all the stuff that draws me in because it gets an emotional reaction for me. I'd like to take all of that shit out and then only have stuff that interests me because I'm learning from it or it's educating me. Or it's inspiring me. So if it's not inspirational or educational, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I just started my new Instagram for my AI stuff, that idea room. And so I'm being very, very cautious about what I watch and click on there because I want it to just be, that'll be the place where I go to like consume content, because it'll be stuff that will educate me. Business related and inspiration related. And then just stay the fuck off the other one.
Yeah.
Like I'll put like what I'm doing on my other one, my personal one, because my personal, you need the personal one because people are going to follow the personal one, look at the personal one, and that's where you also want to put your, I'm doing this real estate thing and I'm doing this AI business thing. Like you want to put those on your personal in addition to, hey, my picture of me and my friends, or hey, I went to Hawaii, here's my pictures from Hawaii. So you intermix it because people want to know who you are.
Yeah, what do you do?
But you want them to know what you do. You know what I mean? So when they see the personal stuff, they're like, oh, she's a real person. She's doing like cool stuff and going to eat with friends and like going on vacations and like going to look at this property now also. So they get both and they know you're a person. And then they also see you grow in what you're doing.
Well, why not put that on your personal account?
No, I do. I want to. Yeah. I haven't yet, but I want to.
Okay.
So like I'll have my AI stuff. I'll have my AI, like the idea room, because then I can go to you and be like, well, what do you do? I'm like, well, hey, go to this Instagram and you can see the videos I've done, examples of all the videos I've done. I want it on my personal because if you're not interested in my personal, you're just asking me about my AI video marketing, I can send you there. And then I can put that link to that on my personal if you want to go look at it. But then on my personal too, as people get to know me and they're like, oh, this guy's doing mobile homes. And so I want people that see me and get to know me as a person also know what I do, because then I will reach those people who aren't just Like the business one is for me to give to you because you're asking me about it and you're interested in it.
Yeah.
Or you're looking up AI and it pops up and you catch it. The personal one is for you to get to know me. And then I will also upload my videos, my AI videos. And I'll also, I haven't done it yet, but I have some content I filmed, but I got to edit it and do all that. But like, here's my first mobile home. This is what I did. This is where I learned. Hey, stick around and watch me grow. I'm still learning. I'm a new investor in mobile homes, and I'm going to make mistakes, but you'll get to learn with me, and you'll get to see my wins. Because now they know you as a person. They see that you started at this point and you've grown from there, and they get to go through that process with you. And then later on, I can be like, they'll see my AI videos get better. They'll see me, get more properties. And this one made $5,000 instead of losing $5,100. This one made $5,000. This one made $10,000. This one made 20. Now they're like, dude, I want to know this person. Or other people that are following me be like, okay, I'll invest in this guy because he's been there long and he's kept going at it. And I've seen him grow.
Building your personal brand. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think
so that stuff, the business stuff absolutely should be on my personal, but I don't want to, some people, I see their personal page and it's all business. And I don't want to do that because I feel like I want you to know me as a human being too, that I'm just a normal human being who has a dog and a Bronco, and I like to go off-roading and I like to paddleboard, and you get to know that I'm just a normal human being.
Yeah.
And here's what I do to make money. And if you want to know about this specific thing, I'll send you over here.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think my Instagram, I'm kind of making it a little more of like a hybrid thing where like, yeah, I want you to know what I'm doing, but like also still be putting in that personal stuff. Like, because I think, for like, I get good engagement on my stuff because I know I put out like good content. And then I also, but I want people to know that like, yes, I am human, but I'm also doing a lot of cool shit. Cause like I had probably like 1,000 followers before I started posting a little bit about my real estate stuff.
Yeah.
And I know it's like, as soon as I started posting about what I was doing in real estate, because I literally dropped everything from San Diego and I moved to Arizona, like literally just like cold turkey, knew nobody in Arizona, maybe a couple of people, but like I dropped everything in San Diego, left and came out here. So I know people already off the bat from what they were like following me for, like they're along with me on that journey. And I'm starting to talk more about my real estate and about my investments and stuff. And I've gotten a lot of people reach out to me like Instagram, Facebook, and they're just like, I really like your posts and this and that. And like, they reach out to me for business and stuff. And so I think like, yeah, I think it's good that, you have another account where you're like sending them towards that. But I think if I want to like somehow figure out a way where I can have them understand me as a person, but also like my personality is going to show even in the work that I do. You know what I mean? So like when I'm going out and filming this flip, like, and I'm not just going to show the flip. I'm going to show my face in that flip. And I'm going to show me knocking down the walls. I'm going to show, like, you're going to see me in those videos. I'm building my brand at the same time as you are seeing me as a person, because you're going to see my personality through all of that.
Right.
And so I think, like, just utilizing social media in that way is, like, so powerful, because, like, I love, like, when I connect with people at these events, like, I always tell them, like, give me your Instagram, because you can keep up with me and the things that I'm doing by watching my stories, by watching my posts. I want you to see that. I want you to see what I'm doing, because then that's how I'm starting to build. It's almost like you're building relationships with the people, with your followers, right? Because as you're, people are going to like watch your stuff. They're like, ooh, I like her personality for one. And two, what the fuck does she do? Because I get a lot of people who are like, I went to college with or high school with, and not a lot of them know about investing. Not a lot of them have ever owned real estate, right? So they're just like curious, so you build that curiosity.
Well, and that's what's great with like different experiences. Like I was talking to Pace and I told Pace my story, and he's like, and I'm not doing, I have a podcast, I have a YouTube channel, but I'm not utilizing it the way I should be utilizing it. I'm still fucking old. So like, I'm like, all right, it's a lot of work to put stuff on Instagram, and I'm very inefficient at it. Whereas somebody like you're probably like, and it's on Instagram, you know what I mean? And I'm like, all right, how do I do this? Do I have to edit it? Do I have to put it on this
stuff? You can use AI to edit your videos, and you start.
Well, what's funny is
there.
I use CapCut to do my AI videos for my ads. And I know that that's what everybody uses to do the stuff on Instagram, but I don't know how to do that yet, because nobody's told me how to do that. Somebody's told me how to do what I do on it. But so I need to go to YouTube and watch it. But I'm like, I'm doing all these other fucking things. When do I have time to do that? But and I have video where I filmed myself in front of my mobile home, and I talked about it, and I talked about partnerships, and I talked about how to pick it up, that I just need to edit and put on there.
Yeah, exactly.
But I need to figure out how to be more efficient at it because I don't have fucking time to do it all, you know? Yeah. And so, but like what Pace was saying, he's like, document everything.
Yeah.
Good, bad,
the bad.
ugly, amazing, perfect. It doesn't matter. Document everything that you go through and throw it on Instagram because you'll suck now, but people will watch you get better and they'll be more interested in you because you watch it get better, as opposed to getting on there and you only see the positive stuff. Here's my Lamborghini and my gold chains. You know what I mean? Like they watched you grow over the last year or 2 years. And now that's built confidence with them in you because they've seen that.
Yeah. 100%.
But I also want them to see me as a person.
Yeah.
And then like with my business Instagram or my AI Instagram, that's specifically to showcase my AI stuff, but I'm also going to throw the personal in there.
Oh, 100%.
So it'll be like the opposite image of my personal. It'll be my personal with a lot of personal and then a lot of business also, like 50-50 mixed in there. And then my business will be the business with a little bit of personal in there, so you know there's a person behind it.
Yeah.
And then if you but the business is specific to you. Maybe you see me on my Instagram. You're like, well, hey, do you have more examples of your stuff? Sure. Go to this Instagram. But I'm not going to try to promote, really. I'm not really using my AI Instagram to promote my AI. I'm using it as a place where you can go look at. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Or
if you're Googling AI because you're into AI ads, it'll pop up for that. But if you're hanging out with me and you see hey, what's he doing? How's he making money? Oh, he is doing this. How does he do all that? Well, you'll see my ads. You'll see that I'm doing other things to make money.
Yeah.
And then I also want to start talking about mindset and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm a little afraid to like take that step because I'm afraid it's going to take so much time. And I'm like, where the fuck am I going to find the time to do that in addition to all the other stuff I don't have time for?
Yeah. But that's where I think you should start utilizing.
Which also comes to like what you probably know that I don't know, that other people who use CapCut know, is how much more efficient you can do it using those tools. So I'm still learning. Like I've gotten to the point now where I'm very, very interested in going out of my way to learn more about AI because I don't want to get run over by it. I want to use it.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So I'm in the process of doing all that.
Yeah.
I started using Claude instead of ChatGPT. ChatGPT is now my Google, and Claude is my building workhorse. I need to write this. I need to research this. I use Claude for that, and I use Google for like, how old is Brad Pitt? You know what I mean?
As you should. I think that's a good way of looking at it. Just utilizing AI in your everyday life, because I know people who are like anti-AI. It's like, dude, you're gonna get left behind in the dust if you don't know how to use this. Like, it's crazy.
Dude, if you're actively using AI, and you're not actively learning the new AI, you'll get run over.
Yeah,
because it changes so fucking fast. Yeah.
So Claude is something that I need to start using a little bit more, but for now, like, I feel like ChatGPT is doing it for me. Like, I came up with the terms on my property, like using ChatGPT. It was like playing around with the terms. I was like, is this going to work? Like, show me the finances. Like, if I were to give this, or like make the down payment this number. And like, it's like just having a personal assistant right at your fingertips. Any question that you ever have, like now knowledge is like, it's so easy. It's anything you want to learn is right there. So why do you even need college at this point,
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
The thing I like about ChatGPT that I don't even know, maybe you can do it in Claude, but I don't know, is you can make your own GPTs specific to
a certain
topic. You know what I mean? So you can create your own GPT inside ChatGPT that you can just click on that one, and that will be your property underwriting breakdown GPT. So like with my AI stuff, the lady that does the course that I was taking, she has 2 GPTs for script writing, like one for 30-second ads, and then another one for like funny ads. And you just have to answer a couple of questions and it writes the ad for you based off of that. And it's specific to that, as opposed to just generally. And it's so used to working on that's what it does good. Whereas with ChatGPT, you have to give it the right prompt, or it's just going to be generalized. So like if you want, you can get a better answer and more accurate answer out of ChatGPT by giving it the right prompt.
Yeah.
So like saying, hey, you are a world-class underwriter, property underwriter who has got 30 years experience in the multifamily industry. Look at this property and tell me such and such, as opposed to being like, hey, can you look at this property and tell me what you think about it? That'll be a different answer than telling ChatGPT who it is and giving it a framework and then asking the question. Those will be two different answers, which I've learned from like watching some YouTube stuff. Dan Martell gets really into AI. But like, and then listening to some podcasts, like I didn't even know there was a prompt until I was listening to a podcast one day, and the guy's like, "Yeah, you want better answers? Give it a better prompt." And I'm like, "What the fuck's a prompt?" You know what I mean? And then he started giving examples of prompts. Tell it who it is before you ask the question.
Tell it who it is before you ask.
Yeah,
that's big. So because I know when I am using ChatGPT, like I'll type out, or like they have that talk option now too, which is great because you can literally conversation. But like I'll just give it fat paragraphs, like fat. The more you prompt it, the more tailored it's going to give you for an answer, and it's going to give you exactly what it is that you're looking for. More information is good for a chat. So
yeah, you definitely want to mansplain to chat.
Anything and everything. Give it all the information. Yeah, but that's good. Is like give it, have it pretend or act to be like an expert in a certain field that you're asking about.
Yes.
So, okay. Yeah, that's good. I'll start using that. Yeah. But how long has it been?
It's 2 right now. I gotta put my eyes on. 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Damn, we've been talking for 2.5 hours. That's crazy.
Doesn't seem like 2.5 hours.
No, it doesn't. We've talked about so many great things.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you ready to go?
I mean, yeah.
Or you got something else to talk about?
What do you
if you had to look at your future when you're 45, what does your life look like?
Time freedom.
Okay.
Time freedom, yeah. Hopefully, I mean, I just want good time to spend with people I care about, and I want to be able to like take care of them, obviously, right? Like I love I even though I'm kind of like estranged from my family right now, my goal is to be able to get back to them and rebuild those relationships because like family does mean a lot to me. I separated and distanced myself from my family originally because I knew that their opinions would matter to me so much that it would start to pull me away from what my goals were for myself.
Right.
And I knew I couldn't have that, so I separated myself from the whole family. And I've been building for these past couple of years, just my life outside of that. Like I dropped out of college and basically just dropped off the face of the earth from my entire family. Like didn't go to like see them and was ashamed to go and show face to them because of the fact that I dropped out of college. And nobody really knew what I was doing. And then now that I'm starting to be a little more active on social media, like my family does follow me on there, and I know that they're talking about me, and they're just like, oh, she did that. And it's like, yeah, you're seeing the wins, but you didn't see any of the struggle I had to go through to get there, and
you know what somebody said? I think it was, you didn't go to Squad Up, did you?
I did go to Squad Up.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, you were there?
Did I see you there? Yeah. I don't think I saw you there. I was there. Yeah.
There were a lot of people there.
I've been lucky enough to go to all three. They've only had 3. I've been looking to go to all 3 of them. But I remember the very first one, this guy got up on stage and I was like, oh shit, that's funny. But very, very true. They said, being successful in whatever you're doing is like being pregnant. Like everybody goes up to you and says, oh, congratulations. But nobody sees how many times you got fucked. And I was like, oh my God, that's so true. What a good line.
How many times you got fucked?
Yeah.
It's so true. It is. Yeah. But
and I think too with family, here's what I've realized about family, some from personal experience, some from hearing other people talk about family. But your family's the last person who's going to believe in you. like really believe in you. They'll say they believe in you, or in your case, they may not. But like, you're still the same person you were. You're the worst version of yourself to your family all the time. Like, they might encourage, depending on your family, like they might be like, hey, you can do it. You know what I mean? But they'll do that's because of what they're supposed to say, because they're your parents or they're your brother or they're your sister. They're supposed to pat you on the back and be like, you can do it. You know what I mean? But like, you're probably not going to do it because you've never done it before. And I remember what you were like when you were 20. That's why I have this one I shown the other day. It's the one of them says, be the person nobody thought you could be. Because that's mostly for family. Because on some level, I'm still the 25-year-old doing the 25-year-old things, even though they see you on a day-to-day basis and or weekly basis, or whatever. They see you enough to see you growing. There's still not a deep belief in that growth.
Yeah, that's what I always feel for my family. Like, it's just they're watching, but they're not supporting.
Right.
Yeah, which is just like really sad, because I would never, like, I would always, like, if or when I do have kids, like, I'm like, I want to push them towards that entrepreneurial mindset.
For sure.
I want them to build, and I want to tell them, how proud I am. Like to this day, I struggle with saying the words "I love you" to people, because that's just not something my family and I ever said to each other.
Right.
So, and it's like, you don't realize how much your childhood does kind of affect the person that you become. Until now, I'm like, damn, like, why do I struggle with saying "I love you"? It's like, my family never said it to me. They never said they were proud of me. So like, words of affirmation were just like so far beyond like what I was ever used to. So now it's like, some of my friends will say like, "Hey, love you, girl," and then I'm just like, "Oh, I love you too." Like, it's like,
great.
oh, that's so nice.
High five.
Yeah. But like, me and my sisters, we're all like super bros to each other. Like, we know we love each other, but like, I'll just always, we'll just be super like, hey, fuck you, dude. Like, it's just, but it's like, it's a love language, so. So I mean, back to your question of like, what do I want my life to look at 45, is just like, I want to be able to have the time to do the things that I love doing before my bones start breaking, and spending it with people that I care about, and hopefully have built something passive through my investments, and just continue to build that and to bring other people up with me, because like,
that's super important too. I feel that way too.
100%. Yeah. Just like, your vision of, getting people out of prison and giving them a new lifestyle. It's like, for me, is like maybe bringing young people and showing them investing and showing them, that there is a way out.
That's what I was saying earlier, and I got distracted. I'm sorry. But Pace told me when I talked to him, when I was telling him my story, he told me, he's like, there's people that follow me that are inspired by me. He's like, but there's people that, if you document everything, show everything you're doing, and be open and honest with your story and tell everybody your story, there's people that you are going to relate to you that won't give a fuck what I say. And vice versa with you, especially being as young as you are. There's a whole generation of softies out there that somebody's going to be out there, and they're going to see you, and they're going to be scared of doing anything like that. It would never enter their mind to, get into real estate, make some kind of decision that's scary. But they're going to like you because of your workout stuff, or they're going to like you because of whatever it is. They're going to, and they're going to follow you, and they're going to see you, and then they're going to see, God, she's my age. God, how does she do that? I can't believe she has the strength to do that. I'd be like, man, that would scare me so much. And they're going to follow you and follow you. And then they're going to go pick up a book, and then they're going to go join a mastermind, or they're going to go to a meetup because they watched you. And they're going to think differently. But the people doing that won't give a fuck what I have to say. You know what I mean? So that's what's amazing about you, especially, that I think is so amazing, because you're the way you think and your mindset and what you've already done at your age. You're like one of those glimmers of hope for your generation that I feel will like pull some of these kids out of here and like inspire them to like grow.
I would love that. Yeah. Cause I've had conversations with other people that are my age, and they ask me what I do. And, I will always spend as much time as I can, sitting and telling you everything that I know, my story, my everything, my experience, if it means that it could potentially light some sort of spark in your mind to realize that if I'm doing it, you can too.
Right.
You know? And like that brings me so much fulfillment. Like I've had lots of conversations with people who actually is like they're at that moment in their life where they feel vulnerable and they're just like, I don't know what the next step for me is. It's like, well, let me tell you about what I've been through because I understand exactly what it is that you're going through. Like maybe you just haven't found what that is yet. And that's a journey that you need to take for yourself. But know that the potential is there. You just have to be willing to work for it because,
Right.
you know, you want to inspire change, but also it's not, sometimes it's just not made for everybody. Like
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, business, investing, it's scary business. Like it's very risky. And
Yes.
if you go into it knowing nothing, you know, and you don't have the work ethic for it, you're kind of fucked, you
Right.
know?
The
So,
the work ethic and the mindset.
mm-hmm.
Like, I think a lot of people step into entrepreneurship and they only look at it from the pie in the sky viewpoint.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to start this business and it's going to be amazing and it's going to grow and it's going to make a bunch of money, as opposed to like they're not prepared for this person didn't show up to work. These three people didn't show up to work. This person's sick, this person got into a car wreck, and this one just quit. Mm-hmm. And with no notice, or all the different things that go into building a business, any type of business, or, you know, something happened and it cost me 20 grand instead of the 15 that I planned on, or 20 grand instead of the 10 that I planned on. And how do I come up with that? How would I fix that? Do I just give up, stop and run away? Or do I pivot? Mm-hmm. And I grow and I look, and now it's a problem. Do I look at the problem like it's a wall, or do I look at the problem like it's something I need to overcome and challenge? Mm-hmm. And so like a lot of people are not, they just don't have, it's not built into them at all to have that mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think part of my past where I was angry and I was very anti-authority and anti, like, don't tell me what to do. You know what I mean? So I think that actually helped get me to a point where I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'll do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because
And
you've already like been, you know, to rock bottom essentially.
Right.
It's like
100%.
Yeah. Like any sort of growing I've done in my life, the most growing has just always been when I've put myself in an uncomfortable situation. Yeah. You know, like I remember moving myself from where I was living in Sacramento down to San Diego. Like I moved, you know, all of my shit in boxes, put it in my car, like didn't accept any help from my family, moved myself down, like drove through the night from like Sacramento to San Diego, got there at like 7 a.m. in the morning and immediately started moving all my shit back up to my apartment. And I remember like that car ride driving to San Diego, like I was bawling my eyes out because I just knew I had this feeling that my life was going to change for the better. And it did, you know. And then same thing, moving from San Diego to you know, to Arizona, like that just happened 6 months ago. And like I did that because, you know, I'd left a beautiful life in San Diego. Like I had left a relationship that I was very content in. Like I really love the guy. Like I genuinely saw myself marrying him. And it was just like, you know, but I wasn't anywhere in my life like near the goals that I had for myself that I wanted to achieve. So I had to separate myself from that so that I can go and build 100%, because I just, in my mind, I couldn't see how I could build my career and still stay in the relationship. Because when I'm all in on a relationship, like I'm all in, like I'm there for you. Like I want to build with you. I want to build this life with you. But I just felt like I was struggling to figure out how to build my career and that relationship at the same time. And also being so young, he was also building his career too. And it just like, it was hard for me to envision that. And I remember the turning point for me in that was actually, I went to this event called Wholesale Live back in October of last year, and Pace, I saw him speak for the first time at that event. Okay. And dude, like somehow, like I had never experienced his sub 2 community, knew nothing about it, right, until that day. And somehow, after like 4 hours after he had spoken up on stage, I was sitting right across the table, like the dinner table from him, and he's asking me how to make an espresso martini. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? Tabor, it was crazy. Like I stuck around towards the end because, like, you know, he was doing the shaking hands and taking the pictures and stuff. And yeah. I stuck around towards the end, and I was kind of just like in the area, and I was speaking to this girl who was actually a part of his Gator community. And he invited her out to dinner, and then he looks at me. He's like, you want to come with us? And I was like, me? Like, I'm not even a part of sub 2. He's like, no, just come. So he personally invited me out to go to dinner. And so we walk into the restaurant. It's this diner. They'd set up a table of like 20 different chairs. And I remember I walked in, I sat on this chair, like in the middle of the table. And like Pace, I kid you not, walks around the table and he sits right in front of me. And I was like, bro, Pace Morby is sitting right in front of me. And like, I remember the entirety of the event, like things like that kept happening where I was like, I'm meeting so many incredible people. I feel like I finally found the people that I couldn't find in San Diego. And I can't explain to you that gut feeling that I had. I was like, holy shit, I feel this motivation that I know that I'm going to lose if I go back home, back, to that comfort space where I'm so happy and I'm so content. Like this motivation and that I feel right now, I have to follow that, So literally, like, before I had even gotten back from San Antonio, because that's where it was at, I, told my ex-boyfriend, I was like, dude, I gotta go. I have to move to Arizona. Like, I have to be in that. I have to continue that to have that around me so that I can continue to grow, because this is what I have been missing in San Diego. And literally, like, I put in my 30-day notice. I put in my 2 weeks at my job, like, set a whole day, like, for me to, like, literally move. And so, like, that event happened in October. In November, I was already moved into fucking Phoenix.
Wow.
And my ex-boyfriend, like, he's so supportive throughout the entire thing, and it was really sad. Like, like, he helped me move my U-Haul out there. Like, he drove it out there. I drove my car. He, like, helped me find a gym. Like, he took me grocery shopping and, like, set me up for success. I was in an Airbnb for a couple of days because they told me my apartment wasn't going to be ready for the next couple of days. So I was in an Airbnb for the first, like, couple of days, and, like, he did everything he possibly could to set me up for success. And then I dropped him off at the airport and we said our goodbyes, and that was that. Like, we didn't even think about long distance, because I knew how busy I was going to be, and I knew he was also going to be busy, and I wasn't going to ask him to move to Arizona with me, because I'm not going to ask you to drop your life to come with me. This is my life. I know what I need to build for myself. I've never felt a gut feeling so strong to tell me to move to Arizona. But your family is here in San Diego. Your life is here. You just became a realtor and you're trying to build your career here. Like, I'm not going to ask you to leave that because of me.
Right.
So we made the mutual decision to kind of separate, and he did everything he could, like I said, up until the very last minute. And I dropped him off at the airport, and it was like, holy shit, I'm in Arizona alone. I know nobody out here. And then a couple of days later, I had hired movers to help me move all my shit into my apartment. And, I was talking to you about this earlier, bro. I walked in and I was just hit with a smell of, like, fucking sewer. It was dark in there. Electricity wasn't working. No fire alarm. Like, I was looking in, like, the cabinets, and there was, like, black mold on, like, the edges of it. And, like, I remember I had closed the door after I'd walked into my apartment, and I saw there were, like, water lines that was kind of like just water stains that was, like, dropping down the door. And then I looked up, and there was a bubble in the ceiling. I took a mop and I poked it, and it was fucking wet. And I was like, you've got to be shitting me. I cannot live here. That, on top of going through the breakup and then spending thousands of dollars on the move. I wasn't scheduled for a shift for a couple of weeks too, so I was just cutting into my savings. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. Had to go back in an Airbnb, spent more money on that. And it was just like the first month was so rough, Tabor. Like, when I started going out to Eddie's meetings, like, I was like fucking, like, cry for help type shit. Like, I was like, I don't know anybody over here. Like, I had put out a Facebook post on the Creative Morby, the creative, like, community that he has for free, that's got like 200,000 people on it. And I put out a very vulnerable post. I was just like, hey, I just moved here from San Diego. I don't know what to do. I left a beautiful life. I'm here, like, I'm looking for accountability partners. I'm looking for people in real estate. I just want to, like, somebody to, like, bounce ideas off of, basically. Like, and I got a lot of really good response, and I got people reaching out to me, people telling me to go to Eddie's events. And I'd actually found my business partner on there. He was one of them, one of, like, the 50 people that reached out to me. And then, like, that night that we had spoken, like, that I responded to him, it was like 2 a.m. in the morning, because I couldn't sleep, and I was going through, like, new places to, like, find a place to live. Basically, I was on Craigslist and Facebook and Roomster or whatever, like, trying to find a place. And, like, so it was just I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping. Like, I had never been stressed before like that in my entire life. Like, never felt.
And that's saying a lot after going through the housing stuff you went through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, the housing stuff was like, yeah, I was stressed and I lost sleep, but this physically hurt my body. Like, I never felt stressed like that before. Like, I was nauseous. I couldn't eat for, like, the first week that I was here. And so anyways, like, I talked to Dennis, and like, it was 2 a.m. in the morning, and I just remember, like, texting him back, and he immediately responded to me, and I was like, what are you doing up so late? And he sends me a picture of just, like, his desk, and he's got, like, 2 laptops, like, just one like, screen here, one screen here, and he's just like, I'm working, dude. Like, I'm working. He was like, tell me what would you do? And we were talking about how he's looking at buying RV parks and mobile home parks, which is how I even got started looking at and underwriting these deals with him. And we just became business partners after that. And that was the first night that I remember getting sleep because I told Dennis about where I was at, how I couldn't find a place to live. And he was like, dude, the first thing I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm going to get on the phone. I'm going to call my guy in Phoenix because he lives in North Carolina. He's like, we're going to find you a place to live. And like, that put my heart at ease enough so that I actually felt like I could get some sleep that night. And up until that point, like I said, like I had not, like it was just like that was the first night, and so now we're business partners, and it's just
That's
it's
so
been
cool,
yeah,
man.
and it's incredible what like, and I found the buyer for my real estate, like the creative deal, like on Facebook. Like Facebook's incredible. If you're not
Yeah.
utilizing Facebook, like you have to, because it's so good for business. It's so good for real estate. Everybody and their mom is in real estate, and they're on Facebook using it. It's such a great tool. But yeah, and so from there it was just showing up consistently to Eddie's meetings and being vulnerable, posting about it on Instagram, and like just telling people about my journey and the things that I've been through. And I know it's just the beginning, you know, like 6 months and I'm already like negotiating deals, like buying a business and
Yeah.
negotiating a mobile home park. And like, I'm just like, I would not be here if I hadn't done that and put myself in that hard situation. And
Yeah.
like, if I would 100% always do it again and again, you do the most growing when you're, you know, in those types of like back up against the wall. Like
Yeah.
you really find out what you're capable of doing when you're in those situations. And I just think that's the coolest thing ever, because if there's one thing, like I don't like to relying on other people. So it's like just kind of proof of concept again, that it's like I can believe in myself, like I can do hard things and I can pull myself out of those types of situations. So yeah, it's been a journey.
It's been an awesome journey.
It's been
That's
an
so
awesome
awesome.
journey.
Like I
Yeah.
love that story, man. And again, like every time I think about that, I'm like, oh, what a great story. And she's 25. Like, you know, like that's just like that makes it so much more, gives it so much more credibility. You know what I mean? Like that's why Dennis wants to help you. You know what I mean? That's why that people who are older and more experienced, because they get approached by 20 somethings probably all the time. Oh, hey, can I pick your brain?
It's
can
always,
you tell me this
how
thing?
can you help me? It's
Right.
never, no, it's not how can you help me? It's how can I help you?
Yes.
What do you need right now? Add
Yeah.
value to somebody's life, you know?
And hearing, and when anybody talks to you, they can hear the conviction in your voice. They can hear the conviction in your stories, which they usually don't hear from somebody in your age group. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, the story you already have from the houses that you were involved in, and how you stepped into that and how you came out the other end. Like that in and of itself is all the resume that Dennis probably needed, or other people needed. And so they're like, if this girl can do this at this age, not knowing shit, I'm happy to have to work with somebody like that, because they're excited on some level to be able to help you and mentor you and grow you, because they want to pass that on to somebody. You know what I mean? They want to pass that knowledge. They want to pass what they have on to somebody. And there's not a whole lot of people out there that are worth spending that time in to pass that on to.
Yeah.
And you're somebody that after you talk to, or somebody that like, all right, this is worth my time, you know? And so I just want to commend you for that at your age and everything you've gone through. Like that's super awesome.
Thank you so much. So, yeah, it's just,
and there's gonna come a time when you've built this thing, this empire, and you have the freedom, and you've gotten yourself to the freedom. You're still gonna work all the time, I'm sure. You know what I mean? But you'll have the freedom to do what you want, and the freedom to take care of everybody in your family. That your dad will come up and he'll say he's proud of you.
I mean, I hope so. You know, I mean, I just don't want to live with regret. You know, like I want to eventually get to a point where, you know, we've had our differences, but I know at the end of the day, like it was always he always did everything that he thought was best for his family, and I can't blame him for that. Like even though he did things that were, you know, pretty fucked up and like fucked me and my sisters and my mom up, you know, it's like I'm willing to forgive, you know, not forget, but forgive and move on from there. And then just, yeah, it's like I want to be the bigger person here, but it's just like it's hard to see my sisters still kind of go through it like now, because like they're still in college, or one of them is still in college, and like my parents are divorced, so there's a lot of like, you know, there's a lot of animosity that happens between the two of them. Like it's just they don't talk to each other, so everything they hear about the other parent is through us. So because of that, like they're not taking it out on the other parent, they're taking it out on the kids, right? My sisters who are in the middle of it, and my poor sisters are just like, I need a car, like I need insurance, like this and that, and then it's just like, well, your mom did this, or your dad did that, or I paid for this, and your dad needs to do this, and it's just like
now it's a tit for tat.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like you're missing the point here. The point is your kid needs something.
Right.
Be the better person and just give them that. And it's not worth fighting over. It's not worth, like, it's like, think about what that's doing to your kid. Like, like, my sister called me the other night and she just was like crying about like how mom and dad were just fighting over, this car. Cause my mom bought her a car and she was having car issues. And, like, she was like, I guess my dad was trying to find another car for her to get. And, they were just going back and forth like, oh, who's going to give Francis, is your mom going to give Francis the money after she buys a car because I'm going to buy Francis a car and this and that. And it was just like, I had to get involved because like Francis can't really fend for herself, because it's like, yeah, so it's complicated. And I just don't want to see them go through that. Like, I wish in that position I could just buy my sister the car.
Right.
Like, fuck whatever the issues they have here. Like, I'll buy you a car. I'll pay for your insurance. Like, like I want to get to that point and just kind of like solve the issues, because finances really does just bring out like the ugly side of
most people.
Yeah. So yeah, and then you get the divorce involved in it too, and it's like it just becomes so personal, and everybody's like, yeah. So
you'll 100% be that person for your family.
Yeah,
for sure. Mm-hmm. And your whole you're the oldest, you said? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so everybody's so young. Like, who knows? Maybe you'll build an empire that your sisters will work in. You know what I mean?
That would be so cool. Yeah.
Like, and they'll be able to, learn from you and grow themselves through what you've accomplished. You know what I mean? And they'll, work for you or start their own business that you'll help them start. You know what I mean? Like, you'll be able to pass on what you have and what you're building that they don't really understand yet. Once you get to the point where, because it's almost like with family, you have to grow further than you have to grow for everybody else to believe in you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, things that you've done right now, other people already believe in you because of things that you've done right now. Mm-hmm. Your family's just like, she still needs to go to school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you have to grow past, everybody else will believe in you before your family does.
Yeah.
So you have to grow to the point that they're like, they wake up and they're like, she drives what? How big's her house?
That's when they see.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, like, you've had it for I've had this house for 3 years, Mom. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I've been driving. This is my third car. You know what I mean? And they're all nice. And like it'll just dawn on them one day after you've already had that for 2 or 3 years, and then they'll start seeing you in a different way. Yeah. But it's just so hard for people to. My youngest little sister is 30 something. I'm sorry, Caitlin, I don't remember your actual age. 32-ish, something like that. Mm-hmm. And she's married, she has a kid, and she's still 12 years old in my brain. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I mean?
My sister just turned 21. I was like, you're 21? You can drink alcohol now? It's crazy. Yeah. Life really passes you by so fast, especially when you're in the middle of building. Mm-hmm. Like, man, it's like 6 months went by, like flew by so quick. And I'm like, dang. Like, if my goal is to get out of my W-2 this year, I'm like, I kind of have to pick up the slack, you know? And I feel like I've already been doing so much work. And so, I mean, that motorcycle shop, we're really, really hoping that can close. But like I said, we have to be patient and just keep working the deals, just being consistent. And things will kind of work out if you just keep positioning yourself. Oh my God, we've been talking for so long. I can't even positioning yourself in the right direction. Bro, my brain stopped working.
Yeah, wait till you get old. It'll happen a lot more often.
That's never happened to me before. What the hell is that?
Happens to me all the time.
I feel like I just had a stroke. God. Yeah, but this has been awesome.
This has been super awesome. Yeah. Thank you very much for coming. I'm so glad you came on and said all that. For anybody who's listening or watching, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Definitely my Instagram at Grace Hsueh. You did a good job saying it. It's Hsueh. Yeah. So Grace Hsueh. Or my Facebook, but all of that's like pretty much just linked on my Instagram. So
okay.
My email's on there and all that good stuff. So
awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for putting this together. I'd love to keep doing this. Like we could probably just talk about like what we're working on and stuff. And
absolutely.
Yeah, I think we can
absolutely.
make this
I like I want to have people on that, like right now when I don't have a bunch of people watching or things like that, so that later on they can go back and like if there's we do another one a year from now and your life is totally different, and they
go back and watch this
they go back and watch this one and see where how people have grown. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be so freaking cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that. I think once we close on one deal, I think things will start to really start picking up. But it's just that first deal that's the hardest deal to get, because you're building the credibility, you're building yourself into that space. Finding like raising capital is one of the hardest things to do. And it's like finding that person who truly believes in your vision, but also believes in you as an operator. Like that takes a lot of building trust.
Absolutely.
So, and I think once you've already built a track record and you've done deals and stuff, it's easy for people to start throwing money at you. But like when you're first starting out, like that's that phase that I'm at right now, that hopefully a year from now I can say, I can raise capital like this.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, it's been so cool. And I mean, you're freaking awesome, and putting this together, like your whole setup here is so awesome. Like in your house too.
Yeah.
Your house is incredible.
Thank you very much. I have to give most of the credit for the house to my girlfriend.
Did she do all the interior design and everything?
Yeah, all the interior stuff she does. Dude. And when we came to see this house, it's super, super cool. She locked in on it.
Yeah. Was it like vacant or empty when you came and saw it? Like it wasn't staged or anything?
No. Yeah, it was empty.
Yeah, she did a really great job. I'm like looking at all the furniture and stuff. I'm like, I would have never thought to put that there, but that looks great, I mean, yeah. But all right. Well,
thank you again for coming, and we'll do it again. We'll do it again soon.
For sure.
We'll do it again soon. Yeah. I'm happy to have people back and talk and keep growing and learning and hear more stories, man. I love stories.
100%.
But thank you again. I appreciate it, and we'll do it again.
Cool. Thanks,
All
Taylor.
right. Yes, ma'am.